crackling that's like shattering glass in your mouth. So sharp, really tasty, really fresh too. Okay, and then we also got some of the carnitas, which is fried pork. They have some jalapenos in there. They have some onions in there as well that she served us. So this is carnitas, carnitas are prepared pork, which is boiled, which is simmered in its own fat. And so it retains the flavor, it keeps the moistness. Now this is a whole piece of meat. Oh, green onions in there as well.
Oh! Right when I come back from the bathroom, we get a raid? What a fucking cool thing to come back to. Looks like Voven needs their name written up on the whiteboard. Let's do it. You know what? We're gonna try something new. We're gonna try something new. Never been done before. Oh, this is for you, Volman! For you!
Just remember why you started.
When your back's against the wall and you're living on a prayer, backing down from the fight's gonna get you nowhere. Hit the world back harder than the world can consume it. Believe there's power within and keep on bringing the boom.
Bring the boom around the world, keep spreading happiness and cheer.
They said on 15 minutes.
Bowman, how was your stream?
Haters gonna hate, that's what they do.
Here, let me hit you with a shout out.
If you let them get to you.
When you step onto the field, don't forget to have fun.
Everybody click Bowman with a follow right now.
When you step into the ring and they're bringing the doom,
you gotta hit back harder with the power boom. When your back's against the wall and you're living on a prayer, backing down from the fight's gonna get you nowhere. Hit the world back harder than the world can consume it. Believe there's power within and keep on bringing the boom.
They're gonna tell you that it's over, gonna tell you you're through.
Okay. Oh, I have phone cable. All right, there we go. Ooh, tons of Stellaris. Wait, Stellaris. That game sounds familiar. I don't think I've ever played it. I think people have told me about it though. Thank you for the raid. I was gonna say something. I want a game right now. I'm not gonna lie, I really do want a game. Big time. I want to play Helldivers so bad. But we got some stuff to talk about. We got some more news to go over. So if we don't go over it today, we're going to be behind all week. So let's continue on. Missile strike. Yo, Weed, thank you for clipping that. All right. So Kristi Noem went before Congress today. Something with Department of Homeland Security testifying, or not testifying, just answering some questions, probably about their budget or something like that. I don't know specifically what the hearing was for. But she wasn't testifying. She was just answering questions about, like, DHS budget or something like that. And she was asked a question about habeas corpus. Now, before we listen to what she had to say about what habeas corpus is... Oh, shit. Wait a minute. Is that like a more edited version of that boom? Oh no, that's just in a boom. Okay, I thought that was that new missile strike one. All right, never mind. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so before we watch what Kristi Noem had to say, oh, it's both combined. Okay. Before we listen to what Kristi Noem had to say about habeas corpus, let's look at this clip that we missed from May 9th. Now, I'm pretty sure we reacted to this Stephen Miller press briefing in outside the Oval Office or wherever this is. But we only watched like 4 minutes of it, and the 4 minutes that we watched, I spent playing Ice Agent Hangman with Stephen Miller's name. And then after that 4 minutes, there was still like, I think 10 minutes left in the press briefing. I just clicked out of it and I said, this is boring. We missed a very important part, and it was this.
Hold on, there's a question back there first.
I have two quick questions. First, President Trump has talked about potentially suspending habeas corpus to take care of the illegal immigration problem.
The question is, President Trump has talked about suspending habeas corpus to deal with, to use the Alien Enemies Act to deport more people.
When could we see that happen?
Well, the Constitution is clear, and that, of course, is the supreme law of the land, that the privilege of the writ of habeas corpus can be suspended in a time of invasion. So I would say that's an option we're actively looking at. Look, a lot of it depends on whether the courts do the right thing or not. At the end of the day, Congress passed a body of law known as the Immigration and Nationality Act, which stripped Article 3 courts, that's the judicial branch, of jurisdiction over immigration cases. So Congress actually passed, it's called jurisdiction stripping legislation. It passed a number of laws that say that the Article 3 courts aren't even allowed to be involved in immigration cases. Many of you probably don't know this. I'll give you a good example. Are you familiar with the term temporary protected status, or TPS, right? So by statute, the courts are stripped of jurisdiction from overruling a presidential determination or a secretarial determination on TPS when the Secretary of Homeland Security makes that determination. So when Secretary Noem terminated TPS for the illegals that Biden flew into the country, when courts stepped in, they were violating explicit language that Congress...
This is terrifying. For those that don't understand what habeas corpus is, and they're talking about suspending it so they can further justify deporting immigrants without, hopefully having to deal with the courts at all. Because so far, what's been happening every time they deport somebody, which they've successfully deported people, hundreds have been sent to CCOT. We've seen actual, U.S. citizen children get deported with their parents who have, stage 4 cancer, things like that. But one thing that's been standing in their way are the federal courts and the Supreme Court. Even though they've successfully deported them, the Supreme Court's saying, hey, bring Kilmar Abrego Garcia back. Now, are these courts saying that because they care about the immigrants and they don't want Trump deporting people? No. They're just doing that because they want to create a semblance of due process. So they want to bring, Kilmar Abrego Garcia back so then they can put him through, a trial and then deport him. That's what the Supreme Court wants. So the Supreme Court isn't this historically woke institution that's oh no, we're going against what Trump's doing. They just don't like how Trump's going about it by circumventing law, circumventing the judicial system, circumventing different branches of government. They're all cool with the deportations. Now, there are some federal judges, things like that out here who are probably against Trump's agenda, care about their immigrant neighbors, things like that. But a lot of them just want Trump to go through the process. But they're talking about now, because like I said, that's the one thing that's been in the Trump admin's way. Even when they successfully already deport them, they're like, yo, that was wrong, you need to bring him back. Now they want to suspend habeas corpus, which is your actual right to due process. That's habeas corpus says a trial, a jury, a judge has to hear your case. If you get arrested for something, you have to get a trial. You have to have a speedy and fair trial. Without habeas corpus, a cop can just arrest you and just be the judge and jury right there and say, we're sending you to CCOT right now. And something Bent has brought up a lot, and other people in chat too, this state of emergency, this enacting of the Alien Enemies Act, just going and black bagging people from their homes, it's going to lead to violence toward ICE agents, which has started to happen. if they suspend habeas corpus, it's like, stand your ground, you know? Who knows what a cop is going to do to you? They could, like I said, they could just come and black bag you and send you right to CCOT. Don't even contact any lawyers, or which they're already doing that. But once they suspend habeas corpus, it's like the courts have no say. And there have been times in the past when habeas corpus has been suspended. Abraham Lincoln did it in the Civil War to deal with the Confederates. During Reconstruction to deal with the Ku Klux Klan, and in most recent history after Pearl Harbor to justify putting Japanese people in internment camps. So it has been done before, and it has been done for good means, you know, not just to oppress people. Dealing with the Confederates and dealing with the Ku Klux Klan, hey, you know, it had to be done.
It enacted, saying they have no jurisdiction. So
But
it's
the
not
only reason they're doing that now, trying to suspend habeas corpus, is so they can indiscriminately just send whoever they want, whether it's a citizen or an undocumented immigrant, to a foreign torture prison or to even a prison within the country, whatever. They're trying to get rid of due process because that is the one thing standing in their way right now.
just the courts aren't just at war with the executive branch. The courts are at war, these radical rogue judges, with the legislative branch as well, too. So all of that will inform the choices the president ultimately makes, yes.
And just let me go ahead and not look a quick get a quick definition. Here, I'm just gonna read the AI. I'll just read the AI real quick because it's exactly what I said, just sounds a little bit more scholarly. Habeas corpus is a fundamental principle in law guaranteeing the right of an individual to be free from unlawful detention. It means you have the body, and it requires that a person being held in custody be brought before a court so a judge can determine if the detention is lawful. In essence, it's a mechanism to ensure that the government cannot hold someone without legal justification. They're trying to suspend that. No, I didn't. I just said, those weren't the only three. I just said like 3 examples of Civil War, during Reconstruction, and then World War II. But I'm assuming that happened after 9/11. I didn't know about that one, actually. Because I said the most recent was, I think I said one of the most recent was after Pearl Harbor. I might have said the most recent. Yeah, okay, real quick. Right here. ICE officers are facing a 413% increase in assaults. It's a good start, but we can do better. Boom! Okay, anyway. Homeland Security is even confirming. They posted this. It's absolutely sickening. Oh, wait. Yeah. It's absolutely sickening to compare ICE law enforcement agents to the Gestapo. Attacks and demonization of ICE and our partners is wrong. ICE officers are now facing a 413% increase in assaults. What they're talking about here is Tim Walz comparing ICE to the Gestapo, which is, based. Something we frequently do. But yeah, this is happening. And if they suspend habeas corpus, what else is there to do to protect yourself from an unlawful detainment? How else do you protect yourself from that? Oh, Weed, I'm so sorry. I saw you say that about the AI thing. I read it and then I completely forgot to go back to it. I think I was like watching a video and I was like, right when I'm done with this video, I'll go back to that, and I forgot. Okay. We are going to be playing some Fortnite, but I promised Volk that we would play Fortnite, so Volk's got to be here for that. If we get to games tonight, it's going to be Helldivers. The Illuminate are on Super Earth. This is what it looks like. Hold on, let me just... The map looks like this. This is the map in Helldivers right now. Like, we get to go fight on Super Earth. I'm going to be doing this before the update's over. But we will be playing Fortnite too. Vol keeps bugging me about it. I think I said this Saturday for sure, game night. Did you cover this yet? Oops, page unavailable. Says the page is unavailable for me. Yeah, we'll do that. We will do that. We will ask him the hard-hitting questions. But okay, back to this. Where did Tim Walz say that ICE is the Gestapo? Somewhere. Hold on, I have it. Right here.
Gestapo is scooping folks. Donald Trump's modern-day Gestapo is scooping folks up off the streets. They're in unmarked vans, wearing masks, being shipped off to foreign torture dungeons.
It sucks so bad that the Kamala campaign restricted him so hard.
No chance to mount a defense.
I remember that one day he came out and he's like, the Electoral College shouldn't exist. And then the Kamala campaign was like, shut up.
Not even a chance to kiss a loved one goodbye. Just grabbed up by masked agents, shoved into those vans, and disappeared. To be clear, there's no way for us to know.
Yeah, it's true. This is something that we've all been saying for a very long time. And what I frequently say is every single Gestapo agent, ICE agent, deserves the Nuremberg trials, the worst punishment. ICE is not the Gestapo? Ew. What a loser you are. He kind of got swaggy.
They were actually criminals or not.
It just sucks. It sucks that they restricted him so hard.
Refused to give them a trial. We're supposed to just take their word for it. Donald Trump's modern-day Gestapo is scooping folks up off the streets. They're in unmarked vans, wearing masks, being shipped off to foreign torture dungeons. No chance to mount a defense. Not even a chance to kiss a loved one goodbye. Just grabbed up by masked agents, shoved into those vans, and disappeared.
And then, so yeah, ICE, or Homeland Security. It's absolutely sickening. Okay, we read this one. Yeah, ICE, official ICE statement, though, on him saying that.
Nazi.
Wie bitte? Haben Sie mich gerade als Nazi beschimpft?
Na, Sie sind doch einer.
Das ist ja eine Unverschämtheit. Nur weil ich in der NSDAP und in der SS bin, bin ich noch...
Just because I'm in the NSDAP and the SS does not make me a Nazi.
Lange kein Nazi. Wahrscheinlich bin ich auch noch
I suppose I'm also extreme right-wing.
Extrem, oder was?
Ja, aber was sollen Sie denn sonst sein?
Ich bin vielleicht ein
Maybe I'm just a concerned citizen afraid of foreign domination.
besorgter Bürger, der Angst vor Überfremdung hat. Aber ich bin nicht rechts.
But I'm not
und ich bin
right-wing.
erst recht kein Nazi.
I'm not a Nazi.
Hey, Sie da?
Hey, you there. Do I look like a Nazi?
Sehe ich etwa wie ein Nazi aus?
Nö,
No, I wouldn't say so.
Na, sehen Sie?
See?
Aber der ist wahrscheinlich für Sie auch ein Nazi.
He must be a Nazi too then, right?
Nazis,
Nazis,
lauter Nazis. Wenn einem die Argumente ausgehen, dann holt man schnell mal die
Play the
gute
Nazi
alte
card.
Nazi-Keule raus.
Es hat doch nichts mit
It has nothing
Nazi-Keule
to
zu
do with the
tun.
Nazi
Die
card.
machen sich das Leben sehr einfach. Nur weil jemand die Mainstream-Meinung nicht teilt,
Just because
ist er
someone
gleich ein
doesn't share the mainstream opinion, he isn't automatically a Nazi.
Nazi.
Aber Nazi sein
But
ist
being a Nazi already is the mainstream.
doch längst Mainstream. Ihr Nationalsozialisten seid
You're
an der Macht.
National Socialists.
Seid an der Macht.
You National Socialists already have the power.
Ach ja, ich vergaß.
Oh yeah, I forgot. In your world, everyone is a Nazi.
In ihrer Welt sind ja alle Nazis. Der Führer ist
The
wahrscheinlich
Führer probably is a Nazi too, right?
für Sie auch ein Nazi, was?
Ja?
Yeah.
Jetzt reicht's aber.
That's enough. Insulting a Führer. Come along.
Beleidigung. Mitkommen.
Also, das sind jetzt über...
Ja, ja, ich weiß.
Fascism.
Nazi
Oh,
methods.
Nazi methods. Okay. So yeah, that's the ICE. That's ICE responding to Tim Walz calling them the Gestapo. Our brave ICE soldiers. They're ashamed to do their job. They're masking up. They're not even identifying themselves when arresting people anymore. They're in unmarked vans. Okay, so yeah, there was that. Now back to what the main part of this segment is Kristi Noem. We saw Stephen Miller say he wanted to get rid of habeas corpus, that the Trump admin is going to suspend it. What does Kristi Noem even think habeas corpus is?
So, Secretary Noem, what is habeas corpus?
Well, habeas corpus is a constitutional right that the president has to be able to remove people from this country.
It's like not what it means at all. What it means is like you have a right to a process to not be like removed from the country. You have a right to a fair trial before you get removed from the country.
Spend their right
let me.
But the thing is she's not even being cynical right here. Oh God, babe, you're so stupid. You're so silly sometimes, babe. But no, she's not even being cynical. She honestly doesn't even know what habeas corpus means. I think she like legitimately heard somebody in the Trump admin say
habeas a dog corpus.
She habeas a dog. That was the joke of the night. She did habeas a dog's corpus.
The president has.
No, I don't think she doesn't actually think, or she firmly believes this is what habeas corpus means. Firmly. Ooh, Lex with the resub. Yo, right after this video, I'm gonna write your name up on the whiteboard. No, that was the best joke you've ever made. But she, like I said, she's not saying any of this cynically. She legitimately heard somebody in the Trump admin say, this is what habeas corpus is. It's Trump's right to deport somebody whenever he wants. And she ran with it. She's like, oh, that's what it means. Yeah, that's what it means. She's not purposely trying to misdirect here. This is actually what she thinks habeas corpus means.
To be able to remove. Well, habeas corpus is a constitutional right that the president has to be able to remove people from this country and suspend their right to.
Let me stop you, ma'am.
Suspend their
habeas
right
corpus, excuse me, that's incorrect.
President
habeas
Lincoln
corpus,
used it.
Excuse me. Habeas corpus is the legal principle that requires that the government provide a public reason for detaining and imprisoning people. If not for that protection, the government could simply arrest people, including American citizens, and hold them indefinitely for no reason.
So what she explained is like the absence of habeas corpus, what Kristi Noem explained.
Habeas corpus is the foundational right that separates free societies like America from police states like North Korea.
Yeah.
As a senator from the live free or die state, this matters a lot to me and my constituents and to all Americans.
I agree with the police
Secretary
state
Noem,
part.
do you support the core protection that habeas corpus provides, that the government must provide a public reason in order to detain and imprison someone?
Yeah, I support habeas corpus. I also recognize that the President of the United States has the authority under the Constitution to decide if it should be suspended or not.
It has never
Let
been,
us be clear, though,
it
that
has
this
never
president,
been done. It has never been done without approval of Congress. Even Abraham Lincoln got retroactive approval from Congress.
Yep. Exactly. Okay, so now what did this person have to say? Representative Kim.
I wanted to just go back to something that was raised
Senator
earlier about habeas corpus. Can you confirm to us that you understand that any suspension of habeas corpus requires an act of Congress?
President Lincoln executed habeas corpus in the past with retroactive action by Congress. I believe that any president that was able to do that in the past, it should be afforded to our current day president.
So it went through Congress.
This president has never said he's going to do this. He's never communicated to me or his administration that they're going to consider suspending habeas corpus, but I do think the Constitution allows them the right to consider it.
when we saw what happened with, how many times has habeas corpus been suspended in our country?
Once that I know of.
4 times.
For certain.
Okay,
I'm not
4.
certain.
And I
of
think
those.
the 4th time is what, was it Tabula? Yeah, Tabula said.
Instance that you were referring to was one where the courts subsequently showed that Congress is the one that has the ability. Do you know what section of the Constitution the suspension clause of habeas corpus
I
is
do
in?
not. Nope.
Do you know which article it is in?
No, I do not, sir.
Okay,
I
well,
do
it is
not.
in Article
Suspension.
1. Do you know
Okay.
which branch of government Article 1 outlines the tasks and the responsibilities for?
Yes.
Which one?
Congress.
Which
Yes.
one? She doesn't. Oh, why didn't they keep it going? I wanted to hear her be like, yeah, I know, and then her not answer. Oh, here, maybe.
A press release came out from the Department of Homeland Security a couple days ago. It said that members of Congress in New Jersey that went to the Delaney Hall ICE detention facility could, quote, could have just scheduled a tour. I guess I'd just like to hear from you if you can confirm that you understand that members of Congress by law are allowed to show up unannounced to conduct oversight visits of ICE detention facilities.
Yes, they can conduct oversight, but Senator, what I would ask is that they understand that that doesn't mean they could show up with a mob with the intention to break in and assault law enforcement officers. That's what happened at Delaney Hall last week.
You're familiar
is
that-
those individuals and those members of Congress were surrounded by criminals, creating
Multiple
criminal
habeas
and
corpus.
perpetuating criminal acts.
You understand
but
that
when
they
you
were
show up
already
and ask
within
for a tour,
the
we've
facility.
facilitated every single tour that every member of Congress has wanted. We've always done that, and we have to, when we have a tour, also make sure that we've addressed security concerns and have enough staff and all of that, and we were accommodating that when those individuals showed up and they decided instead to break in.
You know that they were already on the ICE premise, already facilitating into having the tour when there was the arrest of the mayor. They were not breaking
They had
into
broken
the
through the outer fence and they were interior on federal property when
They
the
were
crimes
invited
occurred.
in by ICE.
And so that mayor that they're talking about, got it right here. DOJ charges New Jersey Representative LaMonica McIver over Newark ICE facility protests, lifts charges against Mayor Baraka, the other guy that was arrested that day. The Justice Department on Monday charged New Jersey Congressmember LaMonica McIver with assault against federal agents over the clash at the assault against federal agents. Yeah, over the clash at a Newark immigration detention center earlier this month. McIver was at the ICE facility for an oversight visit with 2 other Democratic Congress members and Newark Mayor Ross Baraka, who was arrested at the time. On Monday, the interim U.S. Attorney for New Jersey, Alina Habba, who was also Trump's personal lawyer, announced she's dismissing a misdemeanor trespassing charge against Baraka, but McIver is still being charged. McIver said in a statement, "The charges against me are purely political. They mischaracterize and distort my actions and are meant to criminalize and deter legislative oversight." The ACLU warned if the Trump administration can target elected officials who oppose its extreme agenda, it can happen to any of us.
As the ICE was preparing to give them a tour.
That
You're
doesn't
aware of
give
that?
them an excuse to start punching
But
law
you
enforcement
understand that they were not
officers.
storming the fence.
Well, I
at
don't
the-
understand. Are you making excuses for their behavior that day?
I'm just trying to clarify what exactly happened.
Oversight is an important part of what Congress.
If I were him, I'd say, yeah, I am, and there should be more people showing up at ICE detention facilities and protesting. He's a liberal-ass bitch, so he's not going to say that. But
does and what you provide to our department, and we welcome it. We give tours when members of Congress ask for it. We just ask that they not be politicized, that they actually are there to provide the oversight that is needed to ensure that we're
So
doing
if I
due
were to
diligence
show
in our
up-
job.
And if I were to show up at ICE detention facility unannounced, I would.
Weed, you're engaging with somebody who right off the bat, I think came in here under bad faith, which is why I ignored the first message.
Be let in.
Yes, I would ask
You're-
that you
you're
would be
engaging with somebody who's coming from a
allowing us
bad
to
faith
secure the
perspective.
officers that we need to give
They're
you an
just trying to
appropriate
troll.
tour, that we'd be able to cover the other bases and posts that they would have to leave to come and facilitate that. We may have to call other people in to help cover some
I
of that
understand
because
some
of the extra
time might be-
responsibilities, but we
I've
can
done this
do that.
before. I just wanted to make sure I
Yep.
heard that from you. I wanted to just.
Okay, we looked at this. Of course I voted for Trump. That's right. We Trump supporters around here, baby. I voted for Trump and Hamas. Oh, here's her statement, LaMonica McIver. Oh, I'm pretty sure we just read her statement about how it could happen to any of us. Anyway, we don't need to read her full statement. Okay, we looked at that. And then, Mariam Alwan and Mosim Mudwai, two of the people that were abducted by ICE, got to graduate today. Or wait, what day was it? The 19th. A year ago, I was arrested for the encampment. Oh, she got arrested a year ago during Biden's presidency when they were all protesting on Columbia University. And then Mohsen, of course, was the one that was abducted by ICE. A year ago, I was arrested for the encampment. I faced so much racism that I doubted I would graduate. A month ago, Mohsen Mudwahi was abducted by ICE. Today, we both walked across the stage, built on the same lawns where the tents once stood. Columbia failed to erase us. And then also, I think I have this as well. The dean of the school giving her speech and getting booed. Thought I had that. Maybe not. Maybe I had it before the Gaza stuff? I don't think so. Here, let me try to find it. Okay, I think this is it. Yeah.
Claire Shipman.
This is the lady, Claire Shipman, who has been like directly working with ICE. And I said Dean, she's president, sorry.
Thank you.
One thing that is terrifying about doing this is that when you're at graduation, they tell you like, hey, if we catch you like even throwing your hat up in the air, we're not going to give you your diploma. But it's so hard for them to be like, all right, these are the people that we're booing. They don't get their diplomas, but still, you never know. They just denied that. Aren't they trying to take away that one woman's diploma after she changed up her speech and gave like a pro-Palestinian, anti-Columbia University speech?
Good morning, class of 2025.
Yeah, Mr. Busker here. I'll pull that up in a second.
I know that many of you feel
We have an oil baron in
Good
the chat.
morning, class of
Drop gift
2025.
subs. Let's go.
I
For the
know
Potter.
that many of you feel some amount of frustration with me, and I know you feel it with the administration.
I told you.
I know we have a...
I told you right off the bat that they were coming in with bad faith. I told you, right? Like, right when somebody comes in and says, what is going on? Instantly, I don't like them. Instantly, I'm like, I don't like this person. But my feelers start going. I'm like, they're coming in here in bad faith. They're not actually genuinely asking what's going on. You know?
Strong, strong tradition of free speech at this university. And I am always open to feedback, which I am getting right now. The work of your generation will be to shape these interesting times, to define the values.
Hell yeah. Politics is an insane emo. Oh shit, Otter's gonna report that one too.
The work of your generation will be to define and shape these interesting times, to define the values and the direction of this century. It will also be to rebuild trust by reaching out and creating common ground so that.
And then I think Marco Rubio was asked a question today too. Oh yeah, about Ramesa Öztürk, the student who was abducted by ICE. She was just released last week though, or maybe the week before.
I have to tell you directly and personally.
But just because she was released, just like Mohsen Wadwahi, they're still facing charges. They're just not being held in jail before they have to go before a trial.
I regret voting for you for Secretary of State. I yield back.
May I respond?
You may sit.
Well, first of all, your regret for voting for me confirms I'm doing a good job, based on what I know.
Well,
that's right. You paid your tax. I forgot, Otter. You're right.
Can I respond?
I have to tell you directly and personally that I regret voting for you for Secretary of State. I yield back.
May I respond?
That's so funny. I regret voting for you. Like, you shouldn't have voted for him, dog. Same with Bernie Sanders. Marco Rubio got nominated 99 votes, okay?
I have to tell you directly and personally that I regret voting for you for Secretary of State.
Was it 99 to 0, or was there one person that voted against him? I forget.
I yield back.
May I respond?
Was there like one person that
first
didn't
of all,
show
your
up that
regret
day?
for voting for me confirms I'm doing a good job, based on what I know.
Yeah, and you not liking that you voted for me, it proves that I'm doing my job by triggering and owning the liberals.
Just a flippant
That's what my whole existence is about, is triggering the libs.
Statement, Mr. Secretary.
Can I respond, Mr. Chairman?
You may.
I didn't ask
Senator, please let the Secretary have
I'd be
the floor.
happy to, but then I can respond to his
Your time's up, Senator, and willfully used, I might add. Your remarks do not represent the view of this committee.
Well, Mr.
Secretary, please.
Well, I'd like to. I can't respond to everything he said because much of these are untrue, but I'll go through a few.
I was just fucking with you, Otter.
First of all, I'm actually very proud of the work we've done with USAID. For example, I don't regret cutting $10 million for male circumcisions in Mozambique. I don't know how that makes us stronger and more prosperous as a nation. I don't regret psychosocial support services.
I raised Sudan, Mr. Secretary.
Can I respond, Mr.
Senator? Senator, I'd ask you to suspend. You had 7 straight minutes of
I chose to use my time that way, Mr. Chairman. That's my right to
Please
use
suspend
my time that way.
Secretary Rubio.
Well, I can go on. I mean, there's other things here. We spent $227,000 for Big Cat's YouTube channel from USAID.
Big Cats?
We spent $14 million for social cohesion in Mali, whatever the hell that means. So I can go on and on. I got the list.
And you know, if whether this stuff is like wasteful government spending is something that you could debate, you know? And if you decide that you don't want to spend money on that anymore, you go through Congress and have them take that funding away, because that's where the money gets allocated, is through Congress.
List here, and there's more. That
I have no problem with any of those programs, personally. But if you wanted to get rid of those programs, instead of just trying to get rid of checks and balances and act like the executive branch is above everything else, you go through Congress and have them not appropriate that money next time.
Bring the whole list. In the case of El Salvador, absolutely. Absolutely. We deported gang members, including the one you had a margarita with. And that guy is...
He's even pushing the margarita thing. There were no margaritas being drank.
A human trafficker.
The Bukele team placed those there.
And that guy is a...
And even if they were drinking margaritas, that does not mean justified to be deported to a foreign torture prison.
Gangbanger, and the evidence is going to be clear.
Gangbanger? He's a gangbanger?
Days to come,
Mr.
you're
Chairman,
going to see who you went to
look,
defend.
Secretary
Rubio has the floor.
Mr. Chairman, he can't make unsubstantiated
Senator,
comments like that.
Secretary Rubio has the floor. You had
Secretary
your time.
Rubio should take that testimony to the federal court of the
Senator,
United States because
well,
he hasn't done it under oath.
Here's another point, okay? There is a division in our government between the federal branch and the judicial branch. No judge in the judicial branch cannot tell me or the president how to conduct foreign policy. No judge can tell me how I have to outreach to a foreign partner or what I need to say to them. And if I do reach to that foreign partner and talk to them, I have under no obligation to share that with the judiciary branch. Just like a judge cannot order me to negotiate with a foreign minister of Russia, they cannot order me to negotiate with a foreign minister or the president of El Salvador. And if I did negotiate with them, which we have responded to them, and we've told them we've had communications with the president of El Salvador, I am under no obligation under our division of powers in this country and to share with the judicial branch how I conducted diplomacy of the United States. It would actually be counterproductive.
Photographers
if
loving
I started
their job
sharing
today.
with courts, or frankly, with the media, my conversations with foreign leaders and all of their details, no foreign leader would talk to me again, and we would break trust with them. So I have complied with every court order. What I won't comply with is an order to disclose what I'm saying and what we're talking about with a foreign leader, because then they won't talk to me. Diplomacy doesn't work that way. About the student visas, let me say this. I don't deport anybody, and I don't snatch anybody. The State Department does not have officers in the street.
The Honorable.
Snatching everybody. What I do is revoke visas. And it's very simple. A visa is not a right.
Does he not look
it is a
honorable to
privilege.
you?
People apply for student visas to come into the United States and study. And if you tell me that you're coming to the United States to lead campus crusades, to take over libraries,
New
and
Henry's
burn down,
Kitchen,
try to burn
nice.
down buildings and acts of violence, we're not going to
Is
give you
that
a
what
visa.
Ms. Ostork did?
We're not going to give you a visa.
Is that what she
And if you
did?
do
Come
that-
on, Mr. Secretary.
And every single
You're
one of
just
these
blowing
cases, the
smoke
factors
here
are
now.
different.
Senator,
the bottom line is, if you're
Senator,
coming here to stir up trouble on our campuses, we will deny you a visa.
Despite how cringe it was for Van Hollen at the beginning saying, I regret voting for you. I'm glad some people are at least standing on business. This guy is a liberal, neoliberal through and through. But again, he was the first example we've seen of somebody actually doing something tangible to stand up against the Trump administration.
And if you
Does
have
the
a
First
visa
Amendment
and we find
apply
you,
to
we'll
people
revoke
living in
it.
the United
And
States?
we're going to do more.
I have a feeling we're going to see him try to run for president in 2028.
There are more coming. We're going to continue
The
to
Eldon
revoke
Marco,
the visas
the
of people
Honorable
who are here as
Eldon
guests and
Marco.
are disrupting our higher education facilities. People are paying money.
Marco, there's no way he could even beat the
These
tree
kids pay
sentinel
money
at
to
the
go to
beginning of the
school,
game.
and they have to walk
Writing
through a
an
bunch of
op-ed
lunatics
to the
who are
tough
here on
newspapers.
student.
What's the easiest boss in Elden Ring? I forget. He couldn't beat that boss, whatever one it is.
Disrupting the
Simple
foreign
as
policy of the United
I
States.
want to do more. I hope we can
That's
find more of these people.
pathetic, Mr.
In fact, the other day,
Yeah,
some
this slime is the thing is Marco Rubio loves everything that Trump's doing and would have done all of the same stuff Trump is doing, just a little bit more professionally, a little more like with a little more decorum, you know? He wouldn't have been out here as being as crass as Donald Trump is.
guys led a riot. I forgot what university it was, and I asked, please, can you find the arrest records
And his main focus would be on nuking Cuba.
of all the people that were arrested at that riot at that campus? Because if any of them have a visa,
And when I say like had he become president, I'm talking back in 2020 when he was running against Trump.
we're going to revoke
I
it.
feel so much safer
All right,
when you
let's,
lock up people like Ms. Ostork, Ms. Secretary.
We've had enough time on the subject. Thank you very much. And we're going to move to Senator Lee.
Freaks. Complete and utter freaks. Okay, let me see. I think we're going to move on and watch a couple Trump press conferences from today. And then we'll talk about Gaza. And then we're going to play Helldivers. Trying to make sure, was there anything else before we move on to Trump videos? Okay, no, that's all Gaza stuff. All right, yeah, that's Gaza stuff. All right. Let's see. What did Trump get into today? Is this it? Yeah, this is the one. All right. President Trump makes an announcement with Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth. I have no idea what the announcement is.
In the Oval Office, one of the great places of the world. as we make a historic
preemptively
announcement about
polishing
the
his
Golden
forehead.
Dome missile defense shield. That's something we want. And Ronald Reagan wanted it many years ago, but they didn't have the technology. But it's something we're going to have. We're going to have it at the highest level. I want to thank Secretary Hegseth, who's been fantastic, and Secretary Rubio, and Space Force Vice Chief of Space Operations, General Mike Gutlein. I also want to recognize Senators Dan Sullivan, Kevin Cramer, and Jim Banks, fantastic senators, great talents, great political talents, and people that love our country. In the campaign, I promised the American people that I would build a cutting-edge missile defense shield to protect our homeland from the threat of foreign missile attack. And that's what we're doing.
Foreign missile attack.
From the people that I would build a cutting-edge missile defense shield.
Oh my
to
God.
protect our homeland
We're getting our own Iron Dome. It's just going to be called the Golden Dome.
from the threat of foreign missile
Which we already have, like, surface-to-air missile defense systems, like, the best. Like, if you think that Israel has the best, ask yourselves, where did Israel get that technology from for their Iron Dome? You think they got the best of the technology? We got the best of the technology.
attack. And that's what
But yeah,
our
again.
homeland from the threat of foreign missile attack.
Foreign missile attack.
And that's what we're doing. Today I'm pleased to announce that we have officially selected an architecture for this
The
state-of-the-art
cost? I mean, they said that Pete Hegseth already said we're getting $1 trillion military budget, so we got all the money in the world for that.
system that will deploy next-generation technology.
Can't afford Medicare for all, though.
Across the land, sea, and space, including space-based sensors and interceptors. And Canada has called us, and they want to be a part of it. So we'll be talking to them. They want to have protection.
Oh yeah,
also.
Mr. Buskett, here. Hold on. I'll pull up that article. We'll look at it in a minute. Oh yeah, here. Thank you. This is what it was about. Yep. Trump unveils plans for a $170 billion Golden Dome missile defense shield. I'll read it in a minute.
So as usual, we help Canada do the best we can. This design for the Golden Dome will integrate with our
No.
existing defense capabilities.
There's a new poster board.
And should
A
be
new
fully
thing has hit the
operational
Oval
before
Office.
The end of my term, so we'll have it done in
A new trinket.
about 3 years. Once fully constructed, the Golden Dome will be capable of intercepting
Why does he have two phones here with the plastic wrap still on them?
missiles, even if they are launched.
No. There's no way it's
other
gone.
sides
There's
of
no
the
way
world,
that's gone.
and even if
No. It's still on the left of him. It's still over here.
Launched from space, and we will have the best system ever built. As you know, we helped Israel with theirs, and
There's
it
no
was
way
very
it's gone.
successful. And now we have technology that's even far advanced from that. But including
They're gonna have them placed
hypersonic
right next to
missiles,
each other.
ballistic missiles, and advanced cruise missiles. All of them will be knocked out of the air. We will truly be completing the job that President Reagan started 40 years ago, forever ending the missile threat to the American homeland, and the success rate is very close to 100%.
I wonder if any of these missile defense systems are going to end up in the death of any American citizens, like it shooting down a plane or something.
Which is incredible when you think of it, you're shooting bullets out of the air. I'm also pleased to report that the one big, beautiful bill will include $25 billion for the Golden Dome.
I wonder, has the IDF, has Israel's Iron Dome ever killed any civilians on accident? I don't know.
Construction get underway. That's the initial sort of.
You know what? I can kind of tell that it's not there anymore,
And we
Garlo.
have, probably you're talking about, General, we're talking about $175 billion total cost of this when it's completed. This afternoon, I'm also announcing that I will appoint, very importantly, General Gutlein to lead the ambitious new effort as the direct reporting program manager for the Golden Dome. A very talented man, and I'm very honored to have been the one that helped or really created Space Force. Space Force has turned out to be a tremendous success. We were third
People
in
can't
space,
afford
and now we're
groceries. You know, we have an insane homeless population. The kids aren't getting fed, you know. We argue about feeding kids school lunches for free. Yet $175 billion for an Iron Dome for America, the Golden Dome. We got money for that, no problem.
#1 #1 in space by a lot. It's not even close. And Mike is a 4-star Space Force general, the recipient of the Defense Distinguished Service Medal.
$1 trillion military
one of the most
budget.
respected people in the world having to do with defense. You know, we have offense and we have defense. I'll bet he's good at offense. And he has an unmatched background in missile warning technology and defense procurement. General Goodline also knows that we need to move fast. No one is more qualified for his job. And everybody, this was a universal acceptance of General Goodline. Everybody that knows him and knows everybody else, they said there's only one man for the job, so I have a feeling we have the right guy. But now I'd like to invite Secretary Hegseth and the General to please say a few words and describe the system a little bit. And we appreciate you being here. And the press has really been very fair over the last period of a couple of months. I don't know what happened to you.
Hold it together.
So
Hold
much
it
more
together,
exciting
Pete.
the other way. But you've been very, very fair. We have very high poll
You're
numbers.
6 gin and sodas
highest we've
deep,
ever
but come
had.
on, you can hold it together.
And I think we're doing a great job. We had a tremendous trip to the Middle East, as you know.
He's like,
It
don't
was a
stutter,
really
don't
amazing
stutter,
trip.
don't trip over my words,
And
don't
now
stutter,
I came
don't
home,
stutter.
and this is the one I was really looking forward to this day.
Do not slur any of
This
my
is very
words.
important for the success. And even
It's still not confirmed that it's not there. We need the camera to go a little bit over to the side to confirm that the Gulf of Mexico poster, or excuse you, Gulf of America. What are you
survival
talking
of our
about?
country. It's a
Don't say that shit
the
in my
evil
chat.
world out there. So this is something that goes a long way toward the survival of this great country. And as I said, we'll be discussing Canada. They want to hook in and they want to see if they can be a part of it. That sort of makes sense. I guess that's what I was talking about from day one. You know, it just automatically makes sense, and it won't be very difficult to do. But they'll pay their fair share. Thank you very much, everybody. And Pete, go ahead.
Well, Mr. President, add this to the long and growing list of promises made and promises kept. Ultimately, this right here, the Golden Dome for America, is a game changer. It's a generational investment in the security of America and Americans. Mr. President, you said...
Bro. That one person, Dom, wrote me on Discord. Yikes, banning someone because they bring up historical context you don't agree with isn't a good look. Oh, fuck, damn it. I don't look good to you? Damn it. Fuck. Damn it. You brought up the Lebanon war, and I simply explained why Biden might have supported it at the time. I read a passage about Biden being, like, supportive of killing women and children. And they're like, yeah, well, the PLO was labeled a terrorist organization. It's like, we're talking about Hezbollah versus Israel, the IDF in the Lebanon invasion. Okay. We're talking about, yeah, but anyway. They would have said the same thing if they knew what Hezbollah was. But just, it's so wild, again, to have that read to you that Biden was a staunch advocate for killing women and children. And then to be like, I'm just explaining why Biden supported that. During the Cold War, when the U.S. foreign policy was shaped by different priorities. What were those priorities? Killing communists? That's not support for Israel, and nothing I said defended the invasion. When we're talking about how horrible of a person Biden is and how we do not care that he has cancer because of it, and we talk about, I read a passage about how he was a staunch advocate for killing women and children, and you bring up, oh, but yeah, the PLO was a terrorist organization at the time. All you're doing is justifying the invasion and the killing of those women and children. What is wild is that your stream title is literally mocking a man with cancer who served this country for 50 years. Whether or not you like Biden, laughing at someone dying of cancer isn't political commentary. It's just tasteless. You clearly don't understand how to separate the position of the president from the man holding it. I hope that all of these people that hold these positions of power, that do atrocities to the world, face the consequences for their actions. Every step of the way. Every time. Maybe stick to your usual content. It just fits you better than half-baked political takes. What's my usual content? This guy was in here one day the other day, the first time. What? What's my usual? My usual content is covering news. I've been subbed to Young Skirt for over 1,000 deep, and you really think I'm an Israel supporter? That's some seriously lazy foresight. Literally, justified the invasion, and Biden saying how he's cool with killing the women and children. But hey, if nuance isn't your thing, you probably shouldn't try to host discussions about geopolitics in the first place. Nope, I'm just not here for you to run defense for a genocidal maniac. I don't care. Anyway, what a weirdo. What a loser.
We're to secure our southern border and get 100% operational control after.
That wasn't even the ban request. That was just, did they put that in a ban request too? That was just them DMing me on Discord.
The previous administration allowed an invasion of people into our country. President Reagan 40 years ago cast the vision for it. The technology wasn't there. Now it is, and you're following through to say we will protect the homeland from cruise missiles, ballistic missiles, hypersonic.
That's so funny. They're like, we're so bummed about getting banned. They had to send me 3 paragraphs to my DMs.
Missiles, drones, whether they're conventional or nuclear. It's not lost on me, sir, also that you had the vision to start the Space Force. And here we are, when the others said we didn't need it, here we are in the Oval Office with one of the leaders of the Space Force in General
The Space Force!
Leading the charge on putting in place a game-changing Golden Dome for America. So, sir, it's an honor to be a part of this bold initiative. We're going to get to work on it. We have been since you signed that executive order on January 27th. We've been fast forward on this. We're here on this day, and this is just one stop in delivering this defense of the homeland, which is something you've charged us with doing, and we'll keep going until it is complete, sir.
Thank you, Pete. Pete's doing a great job, by the way. Thank you very much. General, please.
Mr. President, today is a great day for the nation as we double down on protection of the homeland. As you're aware, our adversaries have become very capable and very intent on holding the homeland at risk. While we have been focused on keeping the peace overseas, our adversaries have been quickly modernizing their nuclear forces, building out ballistic missiles capable of
what a joke of a position, the head of the Space Force.
Warheads, building out hypersonic missiles capable of
my old boss, his brother, was became a part of the Space Force after it was created in Trump's first term. And one time that brother showed up at work just to come say hi. And he my boss brought him around to all of us and introduced him as a part of the Space Force. And I chuckled. And my boss and I always had a rift between us after that.
United States within an hour, traveling at 6,000 miles an hour, building cruise missiles that can navigate around our radar and our defenses.
Exactly, Weed.
Building submarines that can sneak up on our shores.
Oh my. Fuck, you're right, Garlo. It's gone. Please, no, they'll bring it back. They'll bring it back. They're going to stack them next to each other. The whole room is going to be filled with poster board.
Yet building space weapons. It is time that we change that equation and start doubling down on the protection of the homeland. Golden Dome is a bold and aggressive approach to hurry up and protect the homeland from our adversaries.
Gulf of Mexico.
We owe it to our children and our children's children to protect them and afford them a quality of life that we have all grown up enjoying. Golden Dome will afford that. I greatly appreciate your trust in me and your nomination in me and your trust in the team to deliver this. It is a great day for America.
And also, very importantly, we're the only ones that have this. We call it super technology. Nobody
the
else
Golden
has it.
Dome.
And
the nickname for his
has really near what we have. So this is a very exciting project.
That's what Laura Loomer calls it.
I mean, the general said close to 100%
She's
protection.
such a free spirit.
So it's something we need. I think it's very... And everything's going to be made in the USA, by the way, very importantly. So it's something that I've been looking forward to for a long time. And I just noticed
you have a beautiful
Jim,
mind.
You're standing there, and behind you is a very important document, Declaration of Independence.
Finally, the world will be shielded by Americans. We're stuck here.
Many decades.
We can't leave.
Right under this area.
They're building an actual dome.
Pictures on top. You have Abraham Lincoln. You see, that was the original Abraham Lincoln, the original Washington. And does everybody know who the middle was? General Grant. And so it's very exciting. You look over here, and above Ronald Reagan, you have Thomas Jefferson.
Yeah, we got people that can't afford homes,
Monroe
people that can't
from
afford
the
food,
Monroe document.
children not being fed in schools, and
you know who that is, right?
our government
Henry
officials
Jackson.
even
So we have a lot of very exciting
just
pictures,
debating
and
whether
on the other
kids
side,
should be
likewise,
provided food in
just
schools.
Some great presidents and great people.
People dying from lack of health care.
Many of these, because people were asking about them, many of them, almost all of them, were in the vaults.
Yet we're
or
about to spend
nearby,
$175
generally
billion,
in the vaults downstairs.
$1 trillion
We have
on a
some great-
military
so
budget.
It's very exciting, and the place has become a little different than you first saw it, Jim, right?
Yes, much
A
better.
little bit different, it's slightly better.
Military
To
industrial
think we had 'em
complex,
somewhere in the
money
vaults
gun
for
go
over 100
brrrr.
years. So it's pretty cool stuff. Everybody knows Jim Banks. He's a great congressman, and now he's a great senator from Indiana. And you might want to say a few words.
Well, your legacy with Space Force, Mr. President, is already big, but the Golden Dome is going to be an even bigger legacy for our country. And Indiana is going to help you make it.
Right.
The space satellites.
Hold on, what did original
Indiana by
Washington?
L3
What did you
Harris.
say?
Generally in the vaults, and great people in the many of these, because people were asking about them. Many of them, almost all of them, were in the vaults or nearby, but generally in the vaults downstairs. Well, we have some great. So it's very exciting, and the place has become a little different than you first saw it, Jim, right?
Yes, much
It's a little
better.
bit different. It's slightly better, but to think we had them and somewhere in the vaults for over 100 years. So it's pretty cool stuff. Everybody knows Jim Banks. He's a great congressman, and now he's a great senator from Indiana. And
I don't know. I missed what he said about Washington.
Well,
Probably
your
just
legacy
yapping.
with Space Force, Mr. President, is already big, but the Golden Dome is going to be an even bigger legacy for our country. And Indiana is going to help you make it.
Right.
The space satellites that are made at Fort Wayne, Indiana by L3 Harris, all the work done at Crane Navy Base in southern Indiana is going to be a big part of it. And Hoosiers are very proud of that. We're proud of you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, he said something about Lincoln.
Thank you, and good luck, and congratulations.
Like
You
right
won
here, the
that
Abraham
race by a
Lincoln
lot.
bust.
That wasn't even a contest, right?
Well, thanks to you and all of your support.
Yeah, okay, so we just got to get the Gulf of America poster board back, but we got this Abraham Lincoln bust, we got the 2 Golden Dome busts, we got the FIFA trophy, we got these 2 new phones that haven't even been used yet. They still got the plastic wrap on them.
Please go ahead. You missed that. This is Senator Kramer, and he's one of our best. Can't get any better. Go ahead.
Well, you're very nice, Mr. President.
Oh, and then
thanks for
Benjamin
this.
Franklin bust.
I remember the day in your first
Gulf
term
of
when you called.
America.
I was a brand new baby freshman senator on the Armed Services Committee, and you said, I want to have a Space Force. Would you lead the effort on the Senate Armed Services Committee? And I felt so proud thinking that you chose me, only to find out later no one else would do it. But nonetheless, it worked out really, really, really well because North Dakota has some great space assets and that contribute to that and to Golden Dome. No surprise that you would be the president that would come along and put the homeland first. And this is just one more example of that. So thanks for this and for allowing me this opportunity. And by the way, let me just add my strong endorsement of General Goodline's role in leading this. I don't know anybody better, for sure, better equipped to do it than he is.
Everybody said that.
Yeah,
That's
for sure.
Dan Sullivan, Alaska, Senator.
Thank you, Mr. President, and thank you for your continued leadership on missile defense. We were talking earlier how in 2019 at the Pentagon, you laid out a speech about the missile defense.
Okay, do they ask any questions? Thank God.
Any questions?
Thank God.
You had mentioned at the beginning of your remarks that this was a campaign promise of yours. Have military commanders asked for this system specifically? Because NORAD had said previously that the current system was adequate. So what does this get the United States
Somebody
that
said the
isn't
current
already
system is
in
adequate.
before?
There really is no current system. We have certain areas of missiles and certain missile defense, but there's no system. We just have some very capable weapons that hopefully we never have to use, but we have some very capable weapons. Now, this is a different league. There's never been anything like this. This is something that's going to be very protective. I think you can rest assured there'll be nothing like this. Nobody else is capable of building it either.
Was it something that military commanders asked you for? Did they ask you to do this?
Well, let me put it differently. I suggested it, and they all said, we love the idea, sir. That's the way it's got to be, right? But they want it, and they wanted it badly once it was suggested. I don't know if they ever thought they would be lucky enough to have it, but we were able to get it done, and we have all the funding, so pretty much tucked away. I think most people feel it's very important to have. Yeah, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. When you first announced this idea, critics said it would be prohibitively expensive, potentially ineffective, and could trigger an arms race in space. What do you say to those critics about that?
Well, they're wrong. It's about as close to perfect as you can have in terms of real production. I told you Canada wants to be a part of it, which be, fairly small expansion, but we'll work with them on pricing. We'll be dealing with them on pricing. They know about it very much. They've asked to be a part of it, actually. They've asked us to be a part of it. I think it's something that is great. If you can afford to do it, and we can afford to do it. We took in $5.1 trillion in the last 4 days in the Middle East. And when you think about it, this is a tiny fraction of that. But
we're already starting to see it, but
we're going to make it all here.
Do we think that it's going to get as bad as Biden? I know there's a lot of people that want that. I'm here for it.
I will tell you, an adversary told
But
me
there's a lot of people now that are trying to push the narrative that he is already getting like Biden, and I don't see that.
Big adversary told me the most brilliant people in the world are Silicon Valley. He said we cannot duplicate him. We can't. This was somebody that.
But I will say he does look a lot more tired and worn out than he did in his first term.
I won't tell you who it is, but you'd be amazed.
He definitely looks older.
We have the most brilliant minds in the world doing.
Sounds
this
older,
kind of
seems
thing.
older.
The equipment, the space, the computers, everything. But I said that we just can't duplicate what you have there in Silicon Valley. We never have been able to.
Yapping
There's a very
dementia.
strong,
He's like Biden 5 years
group
ago.
of people and very strong minds, but they can't. So we have things that nobody else can have. You see what we've done helping Israel with that. You probably wouldn't have in Israel. They launched probably 500 missiles altogether, and I think 1/2 of a missile got through, and that was only falling to the ground as scrap metal.
Yeah, I think Biden was so much farther gone in 2019.
It's pretty amazing, and this is in terms of technology far advanced from that system.
And just one follow-up on the adversaries. Have you addressed...
He's stupid. He's just dumb. Whereas Biden was in a mental decline. He's just he can at least get a sentence out. Sometimes he says something really stupid in that sentence. But he's at least expressing himself. Whereas Biden has a hard time expressing himself, and that goes back to the 2019 primary.
Russia's ventures in space with a space-based nuclear weapon.
Closer to his
Putin
brainstem.
To stop in your conversations with him?
We haven't discussed it, but at the right time we will. Yeah.
Mr. President, with the goal of keeping Americans safe with this, can you talk about the timeline? How long will this take to complete?
Oops, sorry,
We
Bernie.
think it's going to be about a little bit less than 3 years, and we'll have a big phase-in very early. We're starting immediately with $25 billion. It'll cost about $175 billion completed, but we think...
Bernie woke up, because I went to go to the bathroom earlier. I put him in his bed. He slept there for a while, woke up, realized he wasn't in my lap, came right out here, and was like, put me back in your lap so I can fall asleep there. Thank you.
In 2.5 to 3 years.
You're so
Are
cute.
you confident that you can get the funding needed from Congress quickly?
It's amazing how easy this one is to fund. Some funding is tough and some is easy. When we say we're going to save everyone's lives in a crazy world.
Yeah, let's see how many Democrats end up voting for this.
We've already spoken to everybody we have to speak to. Everybody's in, I would say, Dan, everybody's in line here, right?
Yes, sir. $25 billion.
I think what he means by that is they have all the Republican votes that they need. Every Republican's going to vote for it, which in that case, it doesn't matter if any Democrats vote for or against it.
As a down payment in the budget reconciliation bill right now.
Yeah, so I think
Mr. President, on Russia,
people actually love it.
Mr. President, on Russia, are you worried about the reports on a military buildup along the borders towards Finland and Norway?
No, I don't worry about that at all. They're going to be very safe. Those are two countries that are going to be very safe.
And the secondly, sir, if I may, Volodymyr Zelensky is saying today that he's hoping for you to impose new sanctions on Russia. Are you considering that?
Well, that's going to be my determination. That's going to be nobody else's determination. We'll see.
I see Trump dying of a heart attack, something like that, before we see him get dementia.
Behaves. We see what's going to happen. We have a pretty critical time right now. I had a talk yesterday for 2.5 hours with President Putin, as you know. I also spoke to all of the European, or to many of them.
Yeah, as stupid as he sounds whenever he talks, it's not because he's mentally deteriorating. It's because he's just fucking stupid. He always has been.
Leaders, but they were representing the whole.
So I forget who said it in chat earlier, but he's probably functionally illiterate. People have said that he can't read. I don't think he can't read, but
I think we had a very good conversation.
I think he has a very hard time expressing himself, but not because he's like mentally deteriorating. It's just he's always been like that.
Have you decided on who will be building it?
Yeah, I think I'll let you answer that. You can mention some of yours from Alaska's involved, and Alaska is a big.
I hope I'm wrong though. I hope we get to see him.
It's sort of perfect. I think that's your first
lick the walls of the
defense
Oval
in
Office before he leaves.
Instances, and Kevin will tell you that his state's involved.
Maybe see him bite a couple of his staffers.
Very big. Florida is going to be very big. They're all going to be very big. Jim, do you want to talk about Indiana?
Yeah, in Fort Wayne, Indiana, where I live, we make all the space satellites at L3 Harris.
I watched a little bit of Hassan and Bad Empanada. I think it was Sunday night, or was it Monday night? I forget when.
Across the board, we're the top manufacturing state in the country. By the way, the tariffs have been very good for auto manufacturing.
They've been so good.
But this is going to be really good for the defense industry in my state. And there's so much money involved here. There are going to be a lot of American companies involved in making the Golden Dome.
You might also say, you're talking about the tariffs. He has some of the biggest auto plants in the world moving into Indiana, only for one reason, maybe two reasons: November 5th and the tariffs. Okay.
Yes, sir.
But the tariffs have driven.
We had Matt
tremendous
Liebon,
business into
nice.
this country. But you have one of the biggest in the world being built.
The Honda Civics,
right?
The new Honda Civic made
Honda
in
Civics.
GM's added jobs. Eli Lilly moving pharmaceutical manufacturing from China to the United States, $27 billion. You go on and on with good news in Indiana and across the country because of the tariffs.
Our country was cold as ice a year ago, and now we have the hottest country in the world. This is the hottest country
How long
in
is
the
his
world. Nobody
fundraiser
even
going
talks.
for?
If you look at even this last trip that I made, the respect that is paid to our country. We've went from being laughed at all over the world, and now we're the hottest country in the world by far. Dan, go ahead, please.
Yes, sir, Mr. President.
It ended yesterday?
I think when you look at the system
That's
that
cool.
you've laid out,
FD
it's
signifier.
idea in your executive order of a layered
wait,
defense.
Timothy Chalamet? Timothy Chalamet? Oh, shit. You know, the idea that everybody, like Tectone, Asmongold, and all them are out here talking about Hassan supporting terrorism, having interviewed a terrorist, and that's their main justification for that claim is that, oh, he interviewed a Houthi. He interviewed a terrorist. His last name, Al-Haddad, correct me if I'm wrong, is a Sunni Muslim last name. The Houthis are a Shia Muslim group. He's not a Houthi. Hassan explained that when he was talking about how he was detained by ICE and the ICE agent was Iraqi and was like, oh yeah, Sunni last name. Can't be a Houthi. Right there. It's like all of their whole argument that Hassan interviewed a terrorist, invalid. He's not a Houthi. It's crazy to me. I don't understand how they're even able to like run with this, or anybody even looks to them like, oh yeah, these are intellectuals who know what they're talking about.
So you have initial ground-based missile interceptors, which are made by some of the big defense companies, Lockheed, Martin, Raytheon. But the beauty of
it doesn't matter, even if he was a Houthi. Journalism is allowed to happen.
Your vision, Mr. President, is that
Jeremy Scahill, is just interviewed the leader of Hamas.
It's layered, it's open architecture, and it goes up into space. So this is going to be some
Hamas
of the new
and ICE are allies,
defense tech companies that are very interested in it and can bring missile defense at a cost that I don't think, you said it, Mr. President, is unimaginable in terms of how much lower the cost is. So it's all across the board in terms of companies. Senator Kramer and I just met with a bunch from last week that are interested in this. And you said it earlier, Mr. President, our technology sector is head and shoulders above any other place in the world, and they're going to be a key part of this, and I think that's why it makes it so exciting.
Mr. President, I think one of the things that's, and you alluded to this, the new autonomous space age defense ecosystem is more about Silicon Valley than it is about big metal, right? And so what's exciting about this is it makes it available to everybody to participate, to compete. Big companies, mid-sized companies, small companies, but General Gutlein is the perfect person, again, to sort all that out because he understands how it has to work together ultimately.
And Pete, maybe we'll close with you. We have been discussing this for a long time. Peter and I used to discuss it when I was going to go on a show that he did very well and had tremendous ratings, but all he wanted to talk about was the military. He didn't want to talk about anything else. We used to talk about this. How about you closing it out?
Yes, sir.
His reality
Like
TV
I said,
show cabinet.
Without your vision, willing to say and do things when other people wanted to look away and pretend like the threat didn't exist, or be focused on foreign adventurism, some other threat that we've been told is affecting us. When you looked at the data, sir, from Russia to the Communist Chinese and their capabilities, what they're trying to do to supersede us and threaten us, how do we find the best innovators, the best military leaders, the best companies, tech companies? You mentioned open architecture. That's exactly right. So multiple companies can pour into this, sir. It's a layered defense. So if you miss at one, you catch at the next. And it integrates existing technologies that can speak to each other. So
They're like straight up like, yeah, we're actually like for real getting rid of the DEI in the Pentagon. We're not even going to have gay woman drone pilots anymore. It's going to be AI drone pilots.
Moves quickly while also investing in
fully
further
getting
range
rid of that shit.
space-based interceptors. So our enemies, our adversaries are going to pay a lot of attention to this, just like they have to President Trump from day one. So you're defending the homeland, defending the American people. It's going to benefit my kids, grandkids, all of ours in this room. So thank you for your leadership. We're going to charge it as fast as we can.
Very good. Great job, everybody. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Will Elon Musk and Starlink be involved in this president? Elon Musk can be a part of this as well? Thank you, Press.
No cuts. No cuts to Medicaid. No cuts to
Oh! So right there, he's talking about the his big beautiful bill that they're trying to pass through Congress. You know what? Let's watch that interview too. That one from today. He went to the hall of Congress to do a little press briefing with Mike Johnson. Oh wait, no, this isn't what I was thinking.
Historic opportunity.
Actions are one to secure 1,300.
This isn't it. Hold on, let me find it. Thought I had it. Hey, I trained on the whitest cis man they can find. Yep. Trump, Mike. Is this it? Is it just this quick 6-minute one? So yeah, right at the end of that Oval Office meeting, Trump said no cuts to Medicaid, and that's because Trump's big beautiful bill, which are going to be like the biggest tax cuts to the rich, like in history. It's basically the tax cuts that he did the first 4 years. He's just making them permanent this time. Which the tax cuts for the rich already were permanent. Now he's just making the tax cuts for the middle class permanent, and he's increasing the tax cuts for the rich. And those tax cuts, to enable to pay for those tax cuts for the rich, that money has to come from somewhere. And Republicans know this. The lawmakers in Congress, they know this. And it's going to come from places like Medicaid, Medicare, different social welfare programs, SNAP, food stamps. And Trump is out here trying to say, no, we're not going to cut Medicaid at all to get my big, beautiful bill passed. They are. That's the only way they're going to be able to do it. Without them just saying, oh, yeah, we're just going to add to the deficit, which is the Republicans don't want to do that. They don't want to just openly say, oh, yeah, we're just going to add money to the deficit. No, they want to be able to say, oh, no, we cut billions of dollars from Medicaid to be able to fund these tax cuts for the rich, which means people are going to die. That's what happens when you cut Medicaid, Medicare, SNAP. People die. It's not just, oh, people go without food, people go without their medical care. That means they die. So Trump went down, even though the bill passed through committee on Sunday night. Let's see, Congress. Where'd my Congress part go? No. I got it here somewhere. Hold on. Oh, right here. Trump's big, beautiful Medicaid snap-cutting tax cuts for the rich bill passes through House committee last night. On Sunday, the House Budget Committee passed a bill to give tax breaks to the rich while slashing funding for Medicaid, food stamps, and subsidies for clean energy. One estimate shows nearly 14 million people could lose health coverage under the plan. People will die. In an earlier vote on Friday, a group of far-right Republicans rejected the bill because they sought even bigger cuts. This is the most massive transfer of wealth from the poor and the middle class to the rich in the history of the country. This budget bill is an absolute disaster. It is going to kick over 10 million people off their health care. Medicaid covers about a quarter of all Americans in order to pass along a new $1 trillion tax cut for the richest 1%. Nobody in this country is asking for that. But yeah, so Donald Trump went to Capitol Hill today to try to save his big, beautiful tax cut bill, but also giving Mike Johnson mixed messages on how to do it. The vote is coming up today, actually. It said tomorrow, but that was yesterday. It's today.
You good?
Yeah.
Mr. President, should Republicans that hinder this bill be primary?
Possibly.
Whoa, dude. What is going on with his pants are like up so much higher than usual.
Possibly. We'll have to see it.
Mr. President,
his gut looks like it's poking out a lot.
Should this bill be primary?
And look at the way he's like walking all leg hunched down. He looks like one of those Men in Black. He looks like one of these guys right here. Except just bigger. But this is what he looks like. Like his head going in like this, back going out the back, and his stomach coming out the front.
Possibly.
Possibly.
We'll have to see. I think we have a very, very united party. This man has done a fantastic job, and so have you, Lisa. Thank you. But this man.
Thank you. Thank you.
Done a fantastic job. He's a real unifier. I don't think anybody else could have done it. We had, I just said to your cohorts downstairs, we had a majority of one for a period of 5 months. And he kept it together, and we actually passed things. And nobody else could have done that. He's done a fantastic job as Speaker. We have a very, very...
So yeah, it passed through committee, but
remember, we had one, and
that doesn't mean that every single Republican is going to vote for it, and that's why he's here today. He's trying to get the Republicans to vote for it because they don't need any Democrats to vote for it. They just need all the Republicans to be unified. And some of those Republicans might, like it said, what I just read, they might want more cuts to Medicaid, SNAP. They might not think that Trump is cutting enough, that his tax cuts for the rich are going to have to add to the deficit. So they're like, no, we need to cut more from these social welfare programs. There's other ones who might be afraid of backlash from their constituents. They're like at town halls and things like that, them being like, you're going to take away my Medicaid, we're going to vote for somebody else. But what Trump is coming down here to do, which the first question like pretty much framed the whole reason he's here, do you think Republicans who vote against this bill should be primaried? He's here to let all these Republicans know, hey, if you don't vote for this bill, we're going to fund somebody who's going to run against you. And we got Big Daddy Elon Musk on our side.
7, we won elections. We won elections. I want to win a lot of elections. The economy is good. I just had my...
Now, there might be some infighting, though. There might be some infighting because I did just see a clip today of Elon saying he wasn't going to fund any more campaigns. Let me see. I think I have that right here. Yeah.
I think...
In
terms of political spending, I'm going to do a lot less in the future.
And why is that?
He feels so hurt. Broke boy. Or not even just broke boy, broken boy. He looks broken on the inside. He's like, I spent so much money on Trump and now they're talking about kicking me out.
I think I've done enough.
I think I've done enough.
Is it because of blowback?
Well, if I see a reason to do political spending in the future, I will do it. I do not currently see a reason.
It does, Weed. You're so right.
Okay. What about
I think...
This is Grok answering the question for him. Okay, back to this.
Highest poll numbers ever.
So yeah, maybe Elon's like, hey, you know what? I'm not gonna back these people, or back any like primary opposition.
And we had a big trip to the Middle East. We took in $5.1 trillion. We brought it back to our country. 180 Boeing aircraft are being built now because of that trip, and many other things. That's how we started. The economy is doing great. The stock market's higher now than when I came to office, and we've taken in hundreds of billions of dollars in tariff money, and we've had no inflation. You know, they kept saying inflation. There's no inflation. Groceries are down. Gasoline is way down, way down. Everything is down. All energy costs are down. I'll tell you, to me, maybe the most respected thing, you saw the way they respected me between Qatar and Saudi Arabia and UAE, probably the richest, certainly the richest of their type nation, great places, unbelievable amounts of money. They respect our country again. They were going to go to China. China was going to take over those countries 100%. They were dealing with China because they weren't treated right by the last administration. And they have tremendous economic power. They have more money than anybody. We probably have more money, but we have other things that they are very cash rich, to put it mildly.
Painful.
And they're spending 5.1 trillion. Probably it's going to be 7 trillion by the time we stop. And somebody said every other president goes and leaves and spends money, gives other countries money. I'm the only one that goes and takes money back. When you think of it, I said that's an interesting statement. I never thought of it that way, but we have.
Yeah, that's right. Biden was too disrespectful to China. You show him, JD Pondon.
Unified House, and
we love China.
Senate. And Mike is doing a phenomenal job as Speaker. He's going to be there a long time. And we have a man in the Senate, our leader.
He's going to be there a long time. Let's see if he's still the Speaker of the House in 2026.
Thune, Mr. Thune is doing a great job. I've gotten to like him a lot, and he's doing a fantastic job. Between the two guys, very different personalities, actually, in certain ways, but they are doing a fantastic job. I don't think the Republican Party has ever been so unified. It's become a much bigger party. We're winning the labor vote.
We'll see.
We won the Teamsters. We won votes that
we'll see how they all vote tomorrow.
And by the way, the president of the automakers is now my biggest fan. He said, he did tariffs. Do you know how many auto plants are being built now in this country because of the tariffs? 3 just announced yesterday that they're building. There's a revolution going on, a positive one.
A positive one.
I love it, and we're doing really well. As
well, negotiations to stop, Mr. President. Do you want the negotiations to be over now?
Which negotiation?
Over this bill.
Oh yeah, well it's going to be. We're going to be putting it in soon, and I think we're going to have great support.
Are you going to
we are going to make a couple of tweaks. I mean, we don't want to benefit Democrat governors, although I would do that if it made it better. But they don't know what they're doing.
So
we don't want to do any damage to the state. We want to help all the states, but we have governors that are from the Democrat Party.
I'm such a piece of shit. I forgot to write Lex's name up on the whiteboard after that video.
Let's say New York, Illinois.
Lex, if you're still here, I'm gonna tag him in the Discord really quick.
He's done a horrible job in California.
I'm a piece of shit.
We want to benefit we want to benefit Republicans because they are the ones that are going to make America great again. The Democrats are destroying our country, and you see that with the past administration, with an open borders policy that allowed 21 million people into our country, and many of those people are stone cold murderers, killers, and trouble. Yeah.
What are you planning to tell the fiscal hawks who want to build
Say it.
this? What are you planning to tell the fiscal hawks who want to build
I'm a fiscal hawk. I'm a bigger fiscal hawk. There's nobody like me as a fiscal hawk.
Massey said this adds more deficit than Biden did, and this bill kind of...
Because we have to fix the country.
Trump's first tax cuts for the rich were the greatest contributing factor to the national debt in history.
Do you think that Thomas Massey is correct in saying that this
I'm a fiscal hawk, a condor.
is adding Biden most?
No, I don't think Thomas Massey understands government. I think he's a grandstander, frankly. He'll probably vote. We don't even talk to him much. I think he should be voted out.
But do the Republicans actually care about adding to the deficit, the debt? No. They don't care at all.
Office, and I just don't think he understands government. If you ask him a couple of questions,
as long as they get their tax cuts for the rich, they do not care.
He thinks he's going to get publicity, and you have that. You have that. They've got some too. Go ahead.
Mr. President, on Medicaid, do you want work requirements phased in next year? Do you think
Here's what I want on Medicaid. We're not touching anything. All I want is one thing.
Look at Mike Johnson's face. He's like, I don't know about that.
3 words. We don't want any waste, fraud, or abuse. Very simple. Waste, fraud,
Even the way he's shaking his head is like, ooh, we're definitely going after Medicaid.
abuse. Other than that, we're leaving it. Medicare, we're leaving it. All we're after, this is for the good of it, is a lot of waste, fraud, and abuse. That's all we're doing. We're not touching it. The Democrats are going to destroy it. Thank you very much.
Mr. President, do you think you'll be able to convince Chip Roy and Ralph Norman to vote for this bill?
So there's those 2 Republicans right there that are up in the air, not sure if they're going to vote for it.
Waste, fraud, and abuse. That's all the cuts we're doing. Thank you very much.
And depending on how many Republicans vote, if they don't have like complete unity when it comes to Republican votes, it might not pass. That's why he's showing up today, because he needs every single Republican. Like if one Republican doesn't vote for it, then JD Vance can come and do the tiebreaker vote. But if 2 Republicans, it starts to get fishy. And so that's why he showed up today, was to try to let these Republicans know, hey, if you don't vote in the way that we want for my big, beautiful bill, we're going to primary your ass. Okay. Is there anything else on that? I don't think so. Hold on. Let me just make sure. I don't want to skip anything important I wanted to react to with Trump. There is like a press conference from yesterday. I think we're just going to skip that. Like an Oval Office press conference, and then Caroline Leavitt did a press conference. We're just going to skip those. All right, yeah, you know what? Let's get into a little Gaza talk. No, what's going on with Tory Lanez? Oh, I saw that. Did he get like stabbed or something? Did he get stabbed? Wait, Representative Anna Paulina Luna, I'm calling on Governor Newsom to review Tory Lanez's case and issue a pardon? Yo, his music wasn't even that good. Like, why are you riding for him? What kind of like relationship do you have with him to where like you want him pardoned? His 10-year sentence was based on flawed evidence, political pressure, and prosecutorial bias. Justice must be blind, not driven by headlines. Free Tory Lanez. He shot Megan Thee Stallion. Like, I don't... And his music sucks. So why ride for this guy at all? So he did get stabbed? Okay, I was right about that. Dude is an immigrant. Wait, is he an immigrant? No, he's not. He's not a citizen? I didn't know that. Where's he? He's Canadian? Oh, God, yeah. Get him the fucking CCOT now. No one does that to Meg Thee Stallion. No one. One of the baddest to ever do it. Okay, so we just looked at these. Oh! Fuck, I just missed that. Okay, wait, hold on. Hold on, actually. Let's see if they show it in this clip. Right here. I want to go back to this real quick. Right here at the end, does it show him walking into the wall?
And abuse, that's all the cuts we're doing.
Norman to vote.
Fraud and abuse, that's all we're doing. We're not touching it.
What up, Thrasher?
Are going to destroy it. Thank you very much.
Mr. President, do you think you'll be able to convince Chip Roy and Ralph Norman to vote for this bill?
No, that wasn't it. Okay, hold on. Let me find Twitter. Likes. Okay, I gotta find this. There was one important part of that press conference that we missed. Oh my God. I love Twitter. I'll never leave. I just scroll through my likes and God, I'll never leave this website. Oh, here. So, to add to what you guys were saying about him going senile.
Big hug. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you, Mr. President.
Almost runs into the pillar.
Big hug. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you, Mr. President.
Almost. Why Mike Johnson had to be like, no, this way.
Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.
But I don't think that's. I don't know. Yeah, I think this is blue anon shit. He was just trying to go down the other hallway, and Mike Johnson was like, no, this way. I don't think he was gonna run into the pillar. Like they're saying right here. Call to activism is very much so like a blue MAGA, blue anon account. Yeah, appears to walk straight into a wall. I think he was about to go down the other hallway.
Big hug. Thank you very much, everybody.
It does the camera flashes and stuff do kind of make it look AI. Even Drake is trying to free him. Canada's not sending their best. They never have been. I've frequently advocated for building a wall at the northern border.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Okay, so that happened. All right, let's move on. Let's talk about Gaza stuff for a while. Let's see. Where does it start? Right there, and then we do have some good news to go over when it comes to Abu Bakr, but we'll do that last to try to leave us on a good note. Where do I want to start? This right here. Let's see what the finance minister of Israel had to say about aid being let into Gaza. It's been like over 2 months since the ceasefire ended, and Israel enacted a 100% full-on blockade of all aid going into Gaza. It's being warned that 14,000 children are at risk of dying of malnutrition if aid isn't let in immediately. And the only reason Israel is now allowing aid in is just because they don't want to face scrutiny, like any more scrutiny from the world stage. You got Canada. What is it? It's Canada. Multiple countries are all saying that they're going to divest from Israel. The leaders of Canada, France, and UK, all staunch allies of Israel, warn they could move to sanction Israel unless it halts its stepped-up offensive on Gaza and allows unfettered aid access. Separately, 23 of Israel's allies signed a joint statement calling for a full resumption of aid into Gaza immediately. It's the only reason. It's because they're like, hey, and it's a little too late. A little too late. You know, all of these other countries that are staunch allies of Israel. Like, you could have done this a year ago, 2 years ago, fucking 60 years ago. But anyway, it's the only reason Israel's allowing any aid in is because of them not wanting to get hit with sanctions from all their allies. Controlled by multiple goblins, true. By the way, even if he gets dementia, I don't think he'll ever reach Biden. Yeah, I don't think so either. Yeah. A joint statement. Oh, blunt trauma. Oh! Let's go. Anyway. Yeah, but yeah, what does Finance Minister Bezalel Smotrich have to say about the aid being let in? Gaza aid is just enough to avoid war crimes. Charges while we annihilate... Gaza aid is just enough to avoid war crime charges while we annihilate the Strip. Israeli Finance Minister Bezalel Smotrich gave a speech Monday. Sorry, let me turn this down a little bit. Okay. Gave a speech Monday defending Israel's strategy of mass devastation in Gaza, saying humanitarian aid is only being allowed in so the world does not stop us and accuse us of war crimes. The goal, he insists, and this is proving that they could be stopped. All Biden had to do was make a one phone call and they would have stopped. Trump could have done the same thing. He could do the same thing right now. The goal, he insisted, is to conquer, clear, and stay until Gaza is dismantled beyond recognition. On aid, Smotrich said only the bare minimum will be allowed. A few bakeries distributing pitas, a daily portion of cooked food. Citizens in Gaza will get a pita and a plate of food, and that's it. That's exactly what we see in the videos. People standing in line waiting for a plate of soup. The purpose, he admitted, is not relief, but optics. It allows the world to continue providing us with international protection. Fuck these ghouls, these literal Nazis. We're annihilating everything that remains in the Strip, he declared, simply because it is one big city of terror. He described the new military strategy as one of permanent occupation. No more raids with ins and outs. We're conquering, clearing, and staying until Hamas is destroyed. And by Hamas is destroyed, they mean till we capture all of Gaza and all of the Palestinians have been cleared. We welcome the shift toward targeting Gaza's civil infrastructure. The IDF is finally conducting a campaign against the civilian rule of Hamas. The IDF just admitted that 80% of those killed since March, since the ceasefire was ended, have been civilians. And they're talking about, oh yeah, till Hamas is destroyed. Literally just, oh yeah, we need to go after civil infrastructure. The IDF is finally conducting a campaign against the civilian rule of Hamas. The civilian rule of Hamas. Again, Hamas's militant arm wing is Al-Qassam. Hamas themselves are like the political party. I mean, that's how Israel tries to justify it. They try to conflate Judaism and Zionism, saying they're synonymous when it's not. Just because there are some Jewish people that are Zionists doesn't mean all Zionists are Jews, And just for anybody that is unclear, whenever we talk about this stuff, it has absolutely nothing to do with being critical of the Jewish religion and everything to do with being critical of a far-right authoritarian government that's genociding the Palestinian people and has been since 1948. Has nothing to do with criticizing the Jewish religion. There's many people within the Jewish religion that criticize this Zionist genocide. And there are a lot more Christian Zionists than there are Jewish Zionists. Boasting of the scale of destruction, Smotrich said, "We're dismantling Gaza, leaving it in ruins with unprecedented destruction. And the world still hasn't stopped us. They were thankful. They were thankful that Biden was president over the last 18 plus months that they were allowed to do their genocide without Biden stepping in at all." He added that personally he would prefer a total blockade until the last of the hostages returns. We should also not let water into the Gaza Strip. God, these fucking animals, dude. Ah, man. PETA, the horse is here. Sorry, I don't mean to like laugh at something after reading that. I just was reading a separate chat. Smotrich endorsed ethnic cleansing as an official policy. The population will reach the south of the Strip, and from there, God willing, to third countries as a part of President Trump's plan. I mean, he wants to send how many to Libya? NBC News reports that the Trump administration is working on a plan to permanently remove 1 million Palestinians from Gaza and transfer them to Libya, a place where we don't even have an embassy. We have like flight risks for American citizens going there, saying don't go there, it's not safe. They're in a civil war. On Friday, UN Human Rights Chief Volker Turk said Israel's actions in Gaza are tantamount to ethnic cleansing. And then again, the UN is warning 14,000 babies could die in Gaza in the next 48 hours without immediate aid. 100 aid trucks have been approved for entry into Gaza today, far short of the number needed, but a big jump after fewer than 10 trucks were permitted to enter Gaza on Monday. The slow trickle of aid was the first food allowed into Gaza since Israel imposed a total blockade 11 weeks ago. A UN official called the limited supplies a drop in the ocean as the population of over 2 million is facing famine. Is any of this... Oh, no, okay, we're not, yeah. I think I just read everything that is said in this video. Jeremy Scahill. Seems there is some motion now and possibility of a new indirect negotiations between Hamas and Israel about a ceasefire. Israel claims it is a result of military pressure. You know what? This is from a couple days ago. I don't really think this has any truth to it anymore. Because, yeah, as of yesterday, Hamas said there was zero progress in talks and that the U.S. betrayed its commitments on the Eden Alexander deal, which was they released that IDF American citizen hostage in hopes that America would pressure Israel to allow aid to come in and to enact a ceasefire. Sorry, I'm losing my voice. Let me try to save it. The mediators and the Trump admin know very well Netanyahu is the single greatest impediment to the deal that would release all captives and end the war. Netanyahu doesn't want the hostages back. He wants to kill all the Palestinians. And the hostages staying in Al-Qassam's arms under their captivity justifies him continually bombing Gaza and fully ethnically cleansing the region. But yeah, 14,000 babies will die in the next 48 hours.
Unless we can reach them. There are 14,000 babies that will die in the next 48 hours unless we can reach them. There are 14,000 babies that will die in the next 48 hours.
And this is what made all of the Israel's allies say, hey, we're going to do sanctions on you. Which, again, too late, you guys. Too late. A little too late. Could have done this couple weeks after October 7th. And, like, I could have started threatening sanctions dating back to 1948, if we're being real. Here, let's just start. Let's just start from the beginning. Just in, a few moments ago, Israel bombed Al-Hassaniya school that is sheltering hundreds of displaced families west of the Nusrat refugee camp in central Gaza. 7 martyrs, including a woman and a girl, and 18 injured identified so far. A school.
مجزرة إسرائيلية هنا ارتكبت بحق هذه المدرسة التي تضم المئات من العائلات النازحة. مدرسة الحسين هنا نشاهد العديد من الشهداء والإصابات هنا في هذا المكان، كما نشاهد هذه المجزرة التي ارتكبت بحق العائلات هنا في هذا المكان.
Yeah, I don't think we can watch this. I don't think we can watch this. Israeli military just bombed the generator of the Indonesian hospital in northern Gaza. That's crazy, dude. Like, all of these hospitals were defunct, not even operational 3 months ago. And then during this short ceasefire, it seems like maybe they started to run the hospitals again, and then they just start bombing them. Electricity has been cut off. There's still 44 patients inside, including one in the intensive care on a ventilator, all in urgent need of life-saving care. The hospital is now relying on a damaged solar power system, which once covered 80% of its needs, but can no longer meet demand after previous Israeli attacks. Yesterday, Israeli forces laid siege to the facility and opened fire, wounding an ICU patient, before pulling back a short distance while still maintaining the siege. Israel keeps delegation in Doha to avoid offending the Americans. Okay, whatever. British surgeon shares update from Nasser Hospital. This is the hospital that was the burn unit was bombed the other day, like specifically targeted to kill that one journalist that was had his wounds being treated there. Israeli military earlier today issued forced displacement orders for the eastern parts, but added that the entire government of Khan Yunis, where Nasser Medical, one of the Gaza's largest medical facilities, is located, will now be considered a dangerous combat zone.
Extremely concerning now here at the hospital. I've just received messages coming through from OCHA, UN, etc., explaining that the IDF have issued evacuation orders.
So they're just saying, hey, we issued an evacuation order. This hospital, we can bomb it now. Justifiable.
For a huge part of Khan Yunis government. The hospital we're in, Nasser Hospital, at just the other side of this line, but clearly a lot of staff live there and have family there. The colleague that I'm working with.
Work does. Are you just getting ready to go into work, Samurai, or are you just getting home?
He's just gone to try and evacuate his family because they live in one of those areas. And now we're just waiting for this onslaught that we've been informed by the Israeli forces they're about to unleash on the people of Khan Yunis. Extremely concerning now here at the hospital. I've just received messages coming through from OCHA.
Even if Israel were to bomb and kill this doctor, it's not going to change anything. They'll still be allowed to carry out their genocide. It's so sad that the rest of the Muslim world, the Arab world, doesn't just stand up and say, nope, Nope, no more. But that's because all of those states are propped up by leaders that America put there that do America's bidding. Okay, we looked at that. The generator at the hospital. Director of Kamal Adwan Hospital. There's a... Oh my God. Who's the new director since Dr. Hassam was kidnapped? Director of Kamal Adwan Hospital. We regret to announce that Kamal Adwan Hospital is now out of service due to intense gunfire. I didn't even know it, like, went back into operation after they kidnapped Dr. Hassam. I thought after that it was, like, fully shut down. But I guess during the ceasefire, all the hospitals in the north were able to open back up. Dr. Sakur Hamad, the hospital's director, also said Israeli quadcopter drones have repeatedly fired on medical staff inside and around the facility. While warplanes continue bombing nearby homes, he warned that the lives of patients, the wounded, the medical teams are in immediate danger. The hospital has issued an urgent appeal for international intervention, calling on UN and global institutions to protect medical workers following the collapse of northern Gaza's healthcare system. Just in, 6 injured from Jabalia were brought to Kamal Adwan Hospital, but had to be transferred to Al Shaif in Gaza City, as hospitals in the north are either out of service or unreachable. Israel has completely collapsed the healthcare system in northern Gaza for over 400,000 people. Kamal Adwan Hospital overwhelmed amid ongoing attacks. Palestinian health officials told the Associated Press that Israeli attacks since midnight on Tuesday have killed at least 60 people across Gaza. The largest strikes targeted northern Gaza, including a family home and the Khalifa school, which had been sheltering displaced families. One of those Hassam Shabbat videos that we watched was him going through that school that had turned into a shelter, and each classroom was just like sectioned off with sheets, and each little section of like a sheet tent was a different Palestinian family's home for the time being. And the kids were all out in the hallway, like lighting fires in the hallways of the school to keep warm. What up, Ant? Just got home from a working 11 hours? Damn, they got you working late in the morning. Early in the morning. The latest strikes targeted northern Gaza, including a family home in the... I read that. Dr. Hamad, director of Kamal Adwan Hospital, said the facility is receiving dozens of dead and wounded. The cases that have just come in are critical and need to be transferred, but there is a shortage of ambulances, he told Dropsite. And what we learned when they were evacuating people from Kamal Adwan Hospital before the ceasefire, they would fill up these ambulances with people that needed to be hooked up to like life-saving machines. And as they were trying to transfer them from Kamal Adwan Hospital, northern Gaza, to Gaza City, they would be stopped by IDF military checkpoints for hours upon hours at a time. Sometimes when people would try to leave northern Gaza to Gaza City, the IDF would straight up just shoot them. I feel like it's been so long. I hope you're doing good, bro. I'm glad you're here. Kamal Adwan had no specialist or trauma care following repeated attacks that put it out of service this winter after an extended military siege that culminated in the abduction of its former director, Hassam Abu Safia. The new director says that due to a lack of supplies and staff, hospital workers can only stabilize patients and assess their condition before attempting to transfer them, if transport is even possible, exactly like I said. There's so many factors in why it's not possible. I'm suffering from a shortage of medical staff, including surgeons, anesthetists, and nurses. And Hamad said, everyone is afraid to come to work at Kamal Adwan. Most are afraid of an army entering the hospital. Though the facility has 2 operating rooms and some supplies, he said they are nearly unusable without adequate staffing. Deir al-Balah, 13 killed in a strike on a residential building in Central City. Nusrat refugee camp, 15 killed, including multiple children, after a direct hit on a family home. According to Al-Aqsa Martyrs Hospital, Khan Yunis, 2 Israeli strikes killed 10 people. 5 were killed by Israeli drone fire in Khan Yunis refugee camp. 3 of them were children. I don't think we can look at this video. Just utter depravity and barbarism, man. Trump could get a ceasefire right now if he wanted. He could call Benjamin Netanyahu and say, ceasefire right now. Yeah, ever since the ceasefire ended, they've ramped it up. 100%. And it also seems like it might be exacerbated by the tensions going on between Trump and Netanyahu, if those tensions are real. Who knows? That could all be fabricated by the media. But if those tensions are real, that could be a factor in why Netanyahu is ramping up his siege. Israeli forces are targeting anyone moving inside the Indonesian hospital in northern Gaza. Moments ago, they directly targeted the room of Dr. Mohammed Zahir. Maybe regarding Iran, yeah. And him not showing up to meet up with him when he was going to meet with all the other Middle Eastern countries. What else was it? There was a couple other things we talked about. And like what you said with the more regarding Iran, it was that article I read last week of the ex-IDF soldier, Mossad agent who's in Trump's admin trying to stoke us to go to war with Iran. I forget. But yeah, it's not just tensions regarding Gaza. If at all. Read this. It's remarkable. The UN is literally begging Israel to allow it to deliver Gaza 160,000 pallets of food aid it has ready to go. Israel will not allow that. There's only one inescapable conclusion. Israel is deliberately starving Gaza to death. Yeah, I mean, Netanyahu himself called it a surrender or starve policy last year. As we demonstrated during the ceasefire this year, and every time we've been granted access, the United Nations and our humanitarian partners have the expertise, resolve, and moral clarity to deliver aid at the scale necessary to save lives across Gaza. To those proposing an alternative modality for aid distribution, let's not waste time. We already have a plan. This document sets it out again. It is rooted in the non-negotiable principles of humanity, impartiality, neutrality, and independence. It is backed by a coalition of donors and the vast majority of the international community. It is ready to be activated. Today, if we are simply allowed to do our jobs. Sorry, I'm losing my voice big time. We have the people, we have the distribution networks, we have the trust of our communities on the ground, we have the aid itself, 160,000 pallets of it, ready to move now. We've done this before, we can do it again. We know how to get our aid supplies registered, scanned, inspected, loaded, offloaded, inspected again, loaded again, transported, stored, protected from looting, tracked, trucked, monitored, and delivered, without diversion, without delay, and with dignity. We know how to reach civilians in desperate need and stave off famine. Enough. We demand rapid, safe, and unimpeded aid delivery for civilians in need. Let us work. Tom Fletcher, UN humanitarian chief. They're begging. And it's just the fact that they have to beg. It's like the UN really has no power either. You know who holds the power? the two most moral armies in the world. The United States State Department and Israel. Netanyahu details Israel's solution for Gaza, food only for those he approves.
מתחילת המלחמה אמרנו שכדי להשלים את הניצחון, להכריע את החמאס ולשחרר את כל חטופינו, שתי משימות שמשולבות זו בזו, יש תנאי אחד הכרחי. אסור לנו להגיע למצב של רעב, גם מבחינה עניינית, גם מבחינה מדינית. פשוט לא יתמכו בנו, לא נוכל להשלים את משימת הניצחון.
Okay, hold on. Since the beginning of the war, we have said that to complete the victory, to defeat Hamas and free all of our captives, two intertwined tasks. There is one essential condition: we must not reach a state of hunger, both practically and politically. They simply won't support us. And we won't be able to complete the mission of victory. Literally, their only reason they're allowing aid in is so the world stage is like, all right, Israel, you can continue on your genocide. It looks like it's blowing up like a balloon.
וכמובן שהתקדמנו בצורה הזאת, וגילינו כמובן שהחמאס בוזז חלק מהסיוע הזה.
Okay, we don't need to hear anymore. The first part was enough, but
מתחילת
disgusting, man. Just modern day Hitler. We looked at this already. Oh, this is what I was hoping to see. Look at the way he was like, all right, film me like walking out and looking really important for a minute. Like I'm gonna like pretend that this person's like asking for my attention. I'm gonna like, hold on, I have a very important video that I have to film.
תודה רבה.
ראש הממשלה, יש הבוקר הרבה ביקורת בימין בנושא ההומניטרי.
It's just to like walk into the middle of a room.
טוב, זה מובן, אבל כדאי לדעת העובדות לפני שמביעים ביקורת. מתחילת המלחמה אמרנו שכדי להשלים את
They're making it like a reality TV
ראש
show.
הממשלה, יש הבוקר הרבה ביקורת בימין בנושא ההומניטרי.
טוב, זה מובן, אבל כדאי לדעת העובדות לפני שמביעים.
So fucking gross. You're not fighting Hamas, it's just women and children, a Palestinian woman who survived the Musa bin Nusayr school massacre in Al Tufa, neighborhood of Gaza City. I know sometimes I have a really hard time pronouncing some of these words, okay? So does Sam Cedar, so does everybody reading this stuff. And not everybody, but all of us Americans.
احنا بدناش حرب صحينا من النوم لقينا حالنا بننحرق احنا بولادنا بننحرق قعدنا نصيح احنا بلاستيك.
Wait, Gavin Newsom? New politics streamer unlocked? Join me now, Win the Fight Live, to discuss what the... Wait a minute, is he streaming on Twitch now? Because I know he has his little podcast. Oh my god, with Harry Sasson. Oh, they did it on Twitter, okay. Atrioc? Bro. Oh god, I knew this guy sucked. I knew he sucked, even beyond the whole Pokimane thing. Oh god, I knew he sucked. I just never enjoyed his streams.
You know, it is...
You know, I don't know Doug enough. I remember, wasn't it Rising Star or League of Their Own? Well, it was League of Their Own. And that was when I first found out about him, was the Streamer Awards. I don't know who he is. Don't care. Your place of residence looks like it has little to no bugs, except for this little bug right here. I feel so bad. I just woke him up. I just woke him up. He was so asleep. I feel like such an asshole. Is he alive? Barely. If we're being real. But yeah, all right. Let's listen to this woman talk about surviving the school massacre, and I think this is the one that just went on like 2 weeks ago.
لامتى؟ أنا بدي أسأل لامتى؟ إحنا بدناش حرب. صحينا من النوم لقينا حالنا بننحرق.
We woke up to... Okay, hold on. Let me read what she said. Until when? I'm asking until when? We don't want war. We woke up to ourselves being burned. Burning with our children. We're melting. We're plastic. I feel so bad I woke them up.
انا اصحى الاقي اولادي قاعدين بنحرقوا. ايش انا سويت؟ انا ما سويت شيء بحياتي. لا انا ولا اولادي ولا جوزي. انتوا بتقولوا بتقتلوا حماس، لا انتوا بتقتلوش حماس، انتوا قاعدين بتقتلوا فينا. احنا مش حماس.
We're not Hamas.
ولا احنا جهاد ولا شيء. كلنا
Oh, that part's important too. We're not Hamas.
ولا احنا
Nor are we Palestinian Islamic Jihad or nor not anything.
جهاد ولا شيء. كلنا
They're people that want to live and try to just survive and provide for themselves and their families, just like everybody else in the fucking world.
احنا قاعدين اكلنا وشربنا
Like Asmund Gold being like, they're all inferior and deserve to be genocided.
ونمنا وجينا لقينا حالنا بننحرق. اطفال اللي قاعده بتنحرق، اطفال اللي قاعده تنشوت، فيش حد غير الاطفال والنساء. لامتى؟ انا بدي اسال لامتى؟ احنا بدناش حرب. حين من النوم لقينا حالنا بننحرق، احنا باولادنا بننحرق، قعدنا نسيح، احنا بلاستيك. احنا مش بني ادمين، بني ادمين زينا.
Okay, he's falling back asleep very quickly.
طلعوا إلنا.
He's falling back asleep very quickly. Nothing left in Jabalia. Endless catastrophes in the besieged refugee camp. After already destroying everything, the Israeli army has returned to invade Jabalia for the 4th time since the war began. Okay, let me read a couple more headlines I had, and then we'll move on to just a couple videos. On Sunday, Israel announced it would begin allowing what is called a basic amount of food into Gaza. As we know, they're barely letting any in. Not even bare minimum. Israel kills hundreds more Palestinians over the weekend as it orders expulsion from Khan Yunis. Israel is escalating its war in Gaza, killing hundreds of Palestinians over the weekend, including at least 5 journalists. Oh my God. It's the deadliest war, and it's not a war, it's a genocide, but it's the deadliest conflict when it comes to journalists being killed. Nobody's killed more journalists in Israel. On Sunday, Israel killed at least 160 Palestinians. Oh my God. Including 36 people in the Al-Mawasi area where Israeli warplanes bombed a tent camp housing displaced people. Multiple hospitals have also come under attack, as we've seen. Earlier today, Israel ordered the forced evacuation of Khan Yunis, Gaza's 2nd largest city, which is to the south. Like as we looked, northern Gaza, where Indonesian hospital, Kamal Adwan, all them, that it's northern Gaza, then there's Gaza City, and then there's Khan Yunis below Gaza City. And then there's Rafah. Earlier today, Israel ordered the forced evacuation of Khan Yunis, Gaza's 2nd largest city. On Sunday, Israel announced the start of what is called a new extensive ground operation in Gaza named Operation Gideon's Chariots. Prominent Israeli reporter Gideon Levy said a more apt name for the offensive would be Chariots of Genocide. Residents in Jabalia say Israel's attacks have been relentless. We read all this stuff. Israeli forces continued to bombard Gaza overnight, killing at least 73 more Palestinians. That was on Monday night, including in Khan Yunis, after the Israeli military ordered residents of the southern city to flee as it launched a major ground invasion and vowed to take control over the entire territory. Khan Yunis is a refugee camp itself. That is where Yahya Sinwar was born in 1962 as a refugee in a refugee camp, died a refugee. It's referred to as Khan Yunis refugee camp. Israel also attacked another school turned shelter. Okay, I think that was the one that we saw. Israeli attacks on Gaza's hospitals destroyed already scarce supplies. Israeli strikes on Gaza's hospitals also continue. The World Health Organization on Monday condemned an attack on Nasser Hospital, which destroyed 1/3 of medical supplies, 1/3 of a medical supplies warehouse. This is the hospital director. Oh, okay, no. Oh, and quick Houthi news. Houthi fighters launched naval blockade and escalating actions against Israeli genocide. Yemen's Houthi movement announced Monday it is escalating its actions in support of Palestinians and said it would impose a naval blockade on Israel's port of Haifa. Oh, here, I think I got the Houthis saying it themselves.
Will not hesitate, with Allah's help, to take the necessary additional measures in support of our oppressed...
That was the other reason, Garlo. Okay, I'm so glad we just got to this point. I knew in my mind there was another reason for the potential rift between Trump and Netanyahu. It was the deal that Trump made with the Houthis, where Trump was just like, oh, yeah. Hey, stop bombing our ships. Okay, you can continue bombing Israeli ships, whatever, and you can bomb Israel directly, but just, hey, stop bombing our ships. I forgot about that part, too.
Palestinian people and their esteemed resistance.
The U.S. So yeah, that's another potential reason for a rift between Trump and Netanyahu. Whereas Netanyahu loved Biden. They thanked him. They were like, "Thank you. We were so thankful that they didn't ask us for a ceasefire once." But okay, so that was all the headlines I had. Let's just start watching a couple of videos, you know.
Well, Gaza's healthcare system is on the brink of collapse as hospitals and medical facilities continue to come under Israeli fire. In the north, the Indonesian Kamal Adwan, Al-Shifa, Al-Ali and Al-Auda hospitals have been repeatedly targeted. Yep. In central and southern Gaza, Al-Aqsa Hospital, the Nasser Medical Complex and the European Gaza Hospital in Khan Yunis have also been hit. The World Health Organization says 686 attacks.
You see that? You see how many hospitals that is?
Hospital.
It's almost like they're doing it deliberately, and it's not just because, oh, Hamas has headquarters in all these hospitals or tunnels. It seems like they're just indiscriminately targeting hospitals.
Targeted. In
Kamal Adwan Hospital, Indonesian, Al-Awada, those were the three major ones in North Gaza that were all like constantly being evacuated. Al-Shifa Hospital, Al-Ali Hospital in Gaza City.
Central and southern Gaza, Al-Aqsa Hospital, the Nasser Medical Complex and the European Gaza Hospital in Khan Yunis have also been hit. The World Health Organization says 686 attacks have been carried out on healthcare facilities since the war started. More than 90% of hospitals in the Strip have been damaged or destroyed. Targeting medical facilities, staff and patients violates the 1949 Geneva Convention. It's considered a war crime under international law.
I couldn't imagine ever knowing that Biden did, like, allowed this to happen and then getting mad at somebody for being stoked that he got cancer.
Claire Moneta is an emergency coordinator for Doctors Without Borders, and she's joining me now from Deir al-Balah in Gaza. Thank you very much indeed for being with us. I understand that
I read a passage about Biden advocating for the killing of women and children in 1982, and the person was like, oh, well, the PLO was a terrorist organization at the time. Like, even if you don't... Like, even if you on the inside are like say that you're like for the like Palestinians and you're not pro-Israel, you even saying that justification is like you don't actually care about the Palestinians. All you care about is this sense of decorum and civility and professionalism in politics.
This is your first mission to Gaza, but you have worked in several different areas around the world where there are humanitarian crises. Can you give us a description of how what you're seeing in Gaza compares to what you have seen in other areas?
Yes, what I'm seeing in Gaza is like nothing I've ever seen before. It's absolutely horrific, the conditions people are living in and the way that they're being forced to run for their lives repeatedly. Not just the population, but our staff are affected every day by this, and they're not safe to work in the hospitals. They're not safe to be going out and doing the water activities, providing safe water to the population every day. The space we're working in is decreasing, and our staff are being injured and are at risk of being killed.
With the Israel's blockade on Gaza and the restriction of food and fuel and medicine and getting in, one of the stories, of course, that we've been reporting over the last several weeks has been the increasing amount of malnutrition and starvation that people are facing there. Can you just talk to us about the kind of conditions that your teams are telling you about when it comes to the kind of hunger and issues that people are facing?
Yes, there's been no food let in, no fuel and no medical supplies since the 2nd of March. And we can see that this is having a huge effect.
Like, oh my
especially on the women and children.
When you get this malnourished as a child, the effects are like forever until you die. You experience the effects of that malnutrition for the rest of your life. It's permanent.
That are coming into our clinics and hospitals.
Yeah, God's gift, exactly. Meanwhile, Netanyahu publicly humiliated him multiple times. Yeah.
Women and children that look like they haven't eaten for weeks. And we know
Which
that
is why, like, the anytime I give Trump any, like not even, like, benefit of the doubt, just where I'm like, all right, this might be one area where he's slightly better than Biden just because he secured the first ceasefire. It's like, dude, like, they were stoked. They call, like you said, they called Biden God's gift to Israel.
Suffering is increasing because they can't find.
And it's like last week when I was sitting there talking about the Qatari plane gift and like, oh, Hamas offered Trump an airport with a statue and an ancient relic, all this stuff. I'm not doing that because I'm like, oh my God, Trump, I'm so hopeful of him. I'm just like, yo, I'm hopeful that something meaningful happens for the Palestinian people, and I don't care who does it. If something positive happens for the Palestinian people, I'm going to be stoked no matter who does it. Whether it was Biden that did something or whether it's Trump, I'm going to be happy that the Palestinian people are experiencing some type of peace. If Trump does something good for the Palestinian people and you're against it, you're just anti-Trump. You don't actually care about the Palestinian people. But again, Trump could enact a ceasefire right now, just like Joe Biden could have every step of the way. All it takes is one phone call.
To sleep at night, and the hospital facilities that are open and providing care are becoming less and less because they're being targeted. Just like the hospital we support in Nasser, it's been targeted 3 times in the last few months, and we've had to close down a lot of our services to try and keep operating with what we can, but to also keep people safe as well. It's becoming impossible.
There is a suggestion by the Netanyahu coalition that they are allowing some aid, basic levels of aid in at this stage. Are your teams getting any indication that the
Israeli
aid that is being...
that looks anything like these Palestinian children or the Palestinian hostages that get released by Israel?
allowed in by the Netanyahu coalition? I understand.
Because I've watched every single hostage release that's gone on over the past, ever since the ceasefire started. None of them can even compare to what a Palestinian child looks like.
About 9 trucks had been allowed in. Apparently, the UN is now saying it
Just look at Abu Bakr Abed, the journalist who had to flee.
Has permission for 100 more.
That kid's like skin and bone, man.
Are you getting any impression that that aid is getting to the people who need it?
This aid that's coming in has not been seen by any of our teams on the ground, and 9 trucks is nothing compared to the need here.
Nothing.
Even if there are those trucks coming in, we need access to our own aid to come in, and we need to be able to use this impartially for the population. We can't have it used as a tool of the military objectives, and we can't have it used just on the contingency that people are forced into areas where they're not safe, and they're forced into areas, then their homes are destroyed behind them. We need full access to this aid and to be able to provide that impartially to the population. They've been suffering enough now, and it's become a political game.
In Israeli prisons. That's what I said, right? Maybe I mixed up my words.
Claire Manara is an emergency coordinator for Doctors Without Borders. Thank you very much indeed for giving us your time, ma'am. Thank you.
Dude.
You're welcome.
Biden hid.
Make
he
sure
had
to
cancer
subscribe
so he
to
could
our
do
channel
this.
to get the latest news from Al Jazeera.
I mean, like I read in that article, he was a staunch advocate of Israel invading Lebanon in the 80s and was okay with them killing women and children. Oh, okay. I thought maybe I said said it the opposite way around or something, and you were correcting me, which I appreciate if I do that. I'm sure I do that all the time. I'll go back and I'll watch. I'll be clipping stuff. I'm like, ooh, I said the wrong name there.
Powerful explosions in Khan Yunis as Israeli warplanes fill the morning skies. Drones and assault helicopters raining down bombs on civilian neighborhoods. The besieged and starving people of Khan Yunis say it feels like doomsday. Loads of dead and wounded people, including women and children, rushed to the city's barely functioning medical centers.
I think that person's still alive. Okay, we're good.
They include the Nasser Medical Complex that suffered some of the fiercest bombing over recent days. The attacks caused widespread destruction across the hospital's different facilities, including oxygen lines and pharmaceutical laboratory, and the warehouse storing medical supplies. Another strike hit a school in a Nusayrat refugee camp in the center of the strip, where dozens of people were sheltering. In northern Gaza, the Indonesian hospital is under siege by the Israeli army. Patients unable to enter or get out. The war on hospitals has been ongoing since the beginning, but has reached unprecedented levels. Aside from Al-Nasr and the Indonesian, two other major hospitals.
Israel was indiscriminately killing before the ceasefire under Biden's term, but they've definitely ramped it up. And had they been killing with this intensity, this frequency during Biden's term, during that 18 months, I bet there would be a lot more than 50,000 people killed.
Hospitals in Gaza,
they've definitely ramped it up.
Have been bombed and largely put out of service.
Instead of just bombing 3 hospitals in northern Gaza, they're bombing all the hospitals now.
The hospitals are flooding with people. There's little space to walk inside Al-Aqsa hospital. Some are seeking treatment after injured by Israeli bombardment.
And that 50,000 number is a vast undercount. That's just what we know directly from
help
the
with
Palestinian Ministry of Health.
Or looking for shelter. On Monday, Israeli soldiers disguised in women's clothes entered Khan Yunis and killed Ahmed Kamel. Disguised or looking for shelter. On Monday, Israeli soldiers disguised in women's clothes entered Khan.
Oh, dude, every single one of them needs to be.
Khan Yunis and killed Ahmed.
Did you hear what she said? She said they disguise themselves in women's clothes.
Kamel Sarhan in women's clothes. On Monday, Israeli soldiers disguised in women's clothes entered Khan Yunis and killed
openly, destroying every vital infrastructure, whereas before it was just a portion of the vital infrastructure. Now they're just going after all of it. This is them trying to do their full on here we're going full on, we're taking over everything. Gaza will be ours.
A senior commander with the Nasser Salahuddin Brigades, a faction affiliated to Hamas. Witnesses say Sarhan's wife and daughter
there's no amount of money that could even begin to repay
were abducted during the attack.
Atone for what has been done to the Palestinian people.
We found ourselves surrounded by gunfire. A young man who saw some people filming the action and asked them why was shot and killed. Then they went into a home, killed the man who was inside, and took away the woman and the daughter. These are some of the things they left behind.
As the Israeli army expands its ground offensive, Israel leaders say they will allow limited amounts of humanitarian aid into the strip. But those in charge of relief say it is too little and too late.
When we hear basic needs, we understand that to mean minimal quantities of food, water, and medicine, which cannot cover the massive needs after 3 months of closure. Basic Eats doesn't cover a fuel for hospital, safe shelter, hygiene kit, or water or sanitation supplies.
For the people of Gaza, a little food or a temporary ceasefire aren't enough to lift their suffering. What they want is an end to the genocide.
Yep.
Hind al-Khudari, Al Jazeera, Deir al-Balah, Palestine.
Make sure to subscribe.
Thanks for joining us. Britain, France and Canada are stepping up pressure on Israel for its renewed offensive on Gaza. They threaten to take concrete actions, including imposing sanctions. In a joint statement, the leaders of the three countries called on Israel to immediately...
It's too fucking late. It's good. It's good that they're doing this, but it's like, oh, okay. Gaza's gonna, Israel's gonna allow in, like trickle in a little bit of aid, and then all these countries are just going to stay allies and not do any sanctions. It's meaningless. It's fucking meaningless, man. It's not meaningless because some aid is going in, but...
allow aid into the Strip. Israel's rejecting calls to end its blockade.
Even if every single one of these other allies, world leaders, stopped supporting Israel, as long as the United States is supporting Israel, they will continue their genocide. If the United States were to stop supporting Israel, none of these other countries would be able to keep up with like how many munitions that Israel needs. It would end. And if the United States were to stand up to Israel and say no more, the rest of the world would follow suit.
In the meantime, Israel's stepping up air and ground attacks.
But even if the rest of the world didn't follow suit, they do not have the resources to provide Israel with the amount of bombs and munitions that we do.
Across the Strip, at least 60 Palestinians have been killed in strikes on Tuesday. Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has vowed to take control.
But yeah, I don't give a fuck about hearing about these countries. Let's get to this one. Palestinian journalist says she is eating 1 meal per day.
Let's go actually.
This reminds me of when Amy Goodman asked Abu Bakr Abed how he was doing, how much he was eating a day. And he said he hadn't had fresh food in over a year. He'd been surviving off of bread rations. Now, he's in Ireland. He had to escape because he had malnutrition.
Auda. She's a Palestinian journalist joining us now from the north of Gaza. Thank you so much for being with us. Bisan, first of all, I just want you to take a step back this last, week or so of intense bombings and killings. What has it been like for you, for your family, for your friends?
Hi, Sammy. Thanks for hosting me. Actually, it's been like about 3 days of the intense bombing, and we're living actually, Sammy, in the genocide as if it's just beginning because of the intense bombing, the lack of safe places, the horror that every one of us is living now in Gaza Strip, and the rapidly deteriorating humanitarian conditions. Except that this time, it's not only like 2 or 3 days since the beginning of the genocide. It's more than 580 days since this brutal genocide started. So we can talk about the totally collapsed health sector, housing, and infrastructure systems, and anything that can give us a glimpse of hope to survive this. Of course, adding to the reality that the Gazans, all the Gazans now are suffering from some kind of loss, losing family members, friends, homes, properties, etc. And of course, adding to that...
Let me jump in if I can, because you said a very curious statement. You said it feels like we are just living the beginning of the genocide. Obviously, this period feels different, despite the fact that, the killings have been going on, as you said, for hundreds of days now. Why does it feel different now? Is it because of the types of weaponry being used, the types of targets being hit, the severity and sequential nature of the hits? Or is it just simply because things now are so run down in Gaza, unlike at the beginning of this war?
First of everything, we feel it's the beginning of the genocide because of the huge number of targeting and bombs in all areas of Gaza Strip, and of course the lack of safe places. We don't have safe places. At the beginning of the genocide, they were telling people to go to the Mawasi area of Khan Yunis, or to go, for example, to Rafah in the south of Gaza Strip, to flee the north. But now they're literally targeting all of these places. Rafah is destroyed and totally evacuated and controlled by the army. And the Mawasi area of Khan Yunis, I mean, the day before yesterday, we lost about 44 people were killed in their tents at the night. So it's not safe. And adding to this, Sami, the bombing and the besieging of the hospitals, the still working hospitals like Al Auda and the Indonesian hospital, they totally destroyed.
They're
Shifa
Hamas
hospital.
tents, guys. You don't understand. These are like Hamas military grade tents.
Overwhelmed Nasser, and
there's a tunnel literally underneath one of those tents.
Al-Aqsa hospital. So
oh wait, that wasn't a tunnel. One of the Palestinian children just started to dig a hole. Oops.
Feel it's even harder because we do not have any place to go. At the beginning of the genocide, Sami, I fled my home and went to Shifa hospital because I lived there. I was displaced there for a month with my family in the garden of Shifa hospital. Now I don't have any idea where to go if my place was evacuated or was listed by the army to be evacuated, while the Israeli army is.
And what happens when they evacuate that area and they go to a safe zone? That safe zone gets bombed. There's no place that is safe. They just want the Palestinians to leave. That's the goal.
Daily, even more than
underneath
once
every
a day
baby
sometimes.
Is a Hamas tunnel. Exactly.
Evacuation orders. Now, over 50% of the Gaza Strip area is evacuated, and people do not have any place to go. Adding to this, the reality that we are having only one meal.
How did people in Tel Aviv live with this happening? Oh, you know, here, let me show you something. I think I still have the tweet here. Ethan Klein bristles at Sam Cedar's suggestion that Israelis are bloodthirsty. Only 4% of Jewish Israelis disapprove of IDF response. 81% think civilian suffering should not affect IDF decision-making. 70% think it should be illegal to even express sympathy for civilians. You know, even to the Israelis that live there that are pro-Palestinian, it's like, dog, you're living in a Palestinian's house right now.
I'm having one meal a day since like 2 weeks. For 2 weeks because of the Israeli prevention of any food to enter Gaza for 77 days now. And just imagine the doctors, the nurses, the civil defense, all the emergency response workers are living with this. They're overwhelmed. We're so tired. We don't have enough nutrition. Our families are displaced. We're facing all of this with our empty hands. Are displaced. We're facing all of this.
Okay, that was the video. Oh my God.
With our empty hands.
Thank you, Bisan Auda, for sharing.
Oh my God, my
a very
ears hurt so
painful
bad
story
because my
with us.
headphones
We
are
thank
out.
you for sharing it with our viewers. Bisan Auda, Palestinian
Losing my
journalist.
voice today. My headphones are hurting my ears.
Well, Israel
Rough
has
out
said
here.
it will allow a limited amount of food into Gaza through existing channels until a new mechanism is put in
What video
place.
is this?
Prime Minister
UN warns Gaza faces starvation as Israel imposes tight control. Okay.
Benjamin Netanyahu says only a basic quantity of food will be permitted. Israel's total blockade of the Strip has prevented food, fuel, shelter and medicine entering since March. Let's take this on now with Olga Chevetko, who's the spokesperson of the United Nations Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs. Joins us live now from Deir al-Balah. Olga, good to have you with us. We appreciate it. You're right there in the heart of it. After 10 weeks of blockade, the situation is very, very grave right across Gaza. And now Israel says it will allow a basic amount of food to enter to ensure that, quote, no starvation crisis develops. You're right there in the midst of it all. Aren't we far beyond crisis point already?
Thanks, Nick, for having me and raising this issue. Absolutely. The 10 weeks of a complete sealing of the crossing points for the entry of any aid has had
Yeah, it develops, right? Yeah.
an absolutely catastrophic effect on the already devastated population that has obviously been living through months and months of this war. And I'm sure you can hear the explosions around me and these operations that have intensified even more just in the past 4 days. And we have indeed been approached by the Israeli authorities to resume a limited delivery of aid into Gaza. And we're now in discussions to see how this will actually take place given the situation on the ground and given these operations that are taking place.
Benjamin Netanyahu says that Israel will control all of Gaza and Hamas will not be allowed to access aid. How practical is his desire to see this happen?
So obviously we have stated time and time again that we have mechanisms for our system that help mitigate diversion, that help ensure that aid goes to the people in need. And of course we can speak on the aid that we coordinate and we manage. And during the ceasefire, we showed just how quickly and effectively we can implement these systems and ensure that that the aid goes to the people wherever they are.
So in the first instance, it seems as if Israel does intend for the distribution of food to go through the UN agencies and the agencies that are there on the ground.
So, of course, because the situation continues to develop, we reiterate how important it is to ensure that it does resume. And we will continue speaking to them and, of course, appealing to the international community to ensure that the crossings are reopened for adequate entry of aid. I mean, the needs here are absolutely enormous, and the amount of aid that needs to enter to actually address the needs is huge.
The Israeli Prime Minister seems to be...
And they're not even allowing in what needs to be let in.
Pains to say
not
that
even
will only
like
be a
close.
small amount of food, but I suppose that even a small amount of food will save lives. So the calculation must be that this is better than nothing, I guess.
Oh my God.
The urgency is there, and again, we welcome this development.
Such a disgusting way to even frame it.
Small amount of food will save lives, so the calculation must be that. Seems to be pains to say that will only be a small amount of food, but I suppose that even a small amount of food will save lives, so the calculation must.
Yeah, of course, dog. But you want to know it would be even better than a small amount of food? Every single world leader standing up and saying no fucking more.
Be that this is better than nothing, I guess.
The urgency is there, and
when I say no more, I mean like no more genocide. Allow all the aid in.
Again, we
Not
welcome
no more aid, you know.
This development, but again, the position remains the same: is that our delivery of aid has to be done in a principled way, and it has to reach the people in need. And because of this, we continue to emphasize the fact that not just aid in sufficient quantities must enter, but also the commercial sector has to restart, and people have to be enabled to actually rebuild their lives in a meaningful and a sustainable way.
Indeed, there's an urgent need. Olga, appreciate that. That's Olga Cherevko, who's spokesperson of OCHA. Thank you.
What's next?
Make sure to subscribe to our channel to get the latest.
Thanks for joining us. Israel is ramping up its attacks across Gaza, carrying out a series of airstrikes in the southern areas of Khan Yunis. More than 20 Palestinians have been killed in the attacks since dawn on Monday. Israeli forces have bombed the Nasser medical complex in Khan Yunis as Palestinians killed and wounded in other attacks were being brought to the hospital. The Indonesian hospital in northern Gaza was also targeted by Israeli troops. Health officials say a patient...
Only 5 aid trucks enter Gaza as more than 9,000 remain stuck at the border. We're watching that one right now. That's the one we're about to watch.
Well, more than 9,000.
I think this is one of the most recent ones I have, too. Yeah, from 14 hours ago. A lot of these are all from like a day ago. This is the most recent one I have on the aid truck situation.
Trucks are stuck at the border crossing with Gaza. Well, more than 9,000 aid trucks are stuck at the border crossing with Gaza, denied entry by Israel. 5 trucks have been allowed passage, but the UN's been made to wait for access and says no aid has been distributed yet to Palestinians. 500 trucks are needed each day to meet current needs. That's according
Seems like
to the UN.
they're really trying to get that aid to the 14,000 babies that urgently need it.
Israel has prevented the delivery of food, medication, and all other essentials into Gaza since March.
Today, one of our teams waited several hours for the Israeli green light to access the Karim Shalom area and collect the nutrition supplies. Unfortunately, they were not able to bring those supplies into our warehouse. So just to make it clear, while more supplies have come in to the Gaza Strip, we have not been able to secure the arrival of those supplies into our warehouses and delivery points.
Hamda Salhout has the reaction from Israel. She's reporting from Amman because the Israeli government has banned Al Jazeera from reporting inside Israel and the occupied West Bank.
Israel's foreign ministry released a statement on Tuesday in response to the measures taken by the United Kingdom to, one, cancel the talks of any sort of future trade deal between Israel and the UK, and also the sanctions imposed on violent Israeli settlers and settler groups in the occupied West Bank. Now, since Israel's war on Gaza began October the 7th of 2023, settler violence had largely increased against Palestinians with little to no consequence, and these attacks were often carried out under the protection of Israeli forces. But the Israeli Foreign Ministry is also saying that they are going to continue fighting this war until there's an absolute victory, a term that has been touted by the Israeli Prime Minister for more than a year and a half.
I remember saying it doesn't matter whether it's Biden's admin going to the UN or Trump's admin going to the UN. They're both going to vote the exact same way, and that's with Israel every fucking time.
But what was noticeably absent from this statement was the fact that all of this pushback the Israelis were getting was in response.
Like it was said earlier by Garlow, they considered Biden God's gift
to the dire and catastrophic humanitarian situation in the Gaza Strip that has been caused by Israel's war. Now, the Israeli Prime Minister said that he's going to be allowing the basic and minimal amount of food into Gaza so that the army can continue on with their military operations, something Israeli allies say is wholly inadequate in their statements. But given all of the international pressure that the Israelis have been facing, they say that they are going to continue fighting this war. Hamda Salhout, Al Jazeera, Amman.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. With permission, I'd like to update the House on the 3 recent trade deals.
All right, let's see what Kid Starver had to say about Israel starving kids.
We've struck in the national interest. But first, Mr. Speaker, I'd like to say something about the horrific situation in Gaza, where the level of suffering, innocent children being bombed again, is utterly intolerable. Mr. Speaker, over the weekend we coordinated a response with our allies, as set out in my statement with President Macron and Prime Minister Carney last night. And I want to put on record today that we're horrified by the escalation from Israel. We repeat our demand for a ceasefire as the only way to free the hostages.
Yeah.
We repeat our opposition to settlements in the West Bank. And we repeat our demand to massively scale up humanitarian assistance into Gaza.
I like how the rest of the department's like, here, every time they agree.
Announcement that Israel will allow a basic quantity of food into Gaza, a basic quantity, is totally and utterly inadequate. So we must coordinate our response, because this war has gone on for far too long.
Well, that's more than I've seen from like a majority of elected representatives in the United States.
We cannot allow the people of Gaza to starve, and the Foreign Secretary will come to the House shortly to set out our response.
And that's like the leader of the UK. I mean, we all know who the real leader is, the royals, but damn. Kid Starver out here saying, nope, they can't starve kids. I can do that, but they can't. What else we got?
Israel is launching new attacks in Gaza, with the Hamas-run Palestinian Health Ministry saying more than 50 people were killed overnight. The latest strikes destroyed a school that had been turned into a shelter. It comes as Israel has launched a major new offensive in recent days.
Oh, that video we watched of the mom talking about the surviving the massacre. I think this is the one they're talking about. There was there was like a school that was attacked in a similar fashion like 2 weeks ago that we covered. I think the one she was talking about just happened yesterday.
The IDF has not yet commented on the latest strikes. Meanwhile, the first few aid trucks are moving into Gaza after nearly 3 months of Israel's complete blockade. But with only 5 trucks arriving yesterday, some doctors are warning it's not enough aid to keep babies and children from starving to death within days. Foreign correspondent Tom Sophie-Burge is following the latest from London. Tom, good to see you. The UN says only a limited number of aid trucks are being now allowed into Gaza, calling it a drop in the bucket of what's actually needed. Is that a sign Israel is feeling the pressure from its allies, including the U.S., when it comes to the humanitarian crisis?
Well, Stephanie,
no, like Netanyahu and all them said themselves, like, we just got to let a little bit trickle in so our allies stay our allies, so we can continue doing the genocide.
The Israeli government has already made clear that it is allowing this limited amount of aid into Gaza now because of U.S. pressure, but 5 trucks.
U.S. pressure? U.S. pressure? Wait, no, it was the U.K., Canada, and France, along with how many other allies did it say? Yeah, Canada, France, UK. Separately, 23 of Israel's allies signed a joint statement calling for a full resumption of aid into Gaza immediately. I didn't hear one person report that it was from United States pressure.
Went in yesterday.
Everything that's been reported, especially from Hamas officials, says that ever since they released that hostage to America, to the Trump admin, they have not upheld their end of the deal and just completely left them high and dry.
Before the war, 500 trucks would go into Gaza on any given day. Now,
Trump admin's side of the deal in that hostage exchange was pressuring Israel to allow aid in and going forward with ceasefire talks, pressuring for a ceasefire.
The UN says it has permission from Israel for another 100 trucks to go in today. So we'll have to see how many of those trucks actually get in. I mean, what people should understand is that Israel is allowing this limited amount of aid only until it sets up its own controversial distribution plan for aid, where it would distribute aid from very tightly controlled zones where people would be vetted in order to get access to that aid. Israel says it is doing it to prevent aid going into the hands of Hamas. But
I wonder how many people are going to get denied after getting vetted through that process.
It's very stark warning from a top UN official saying 14,000 babies could die within the next 48 hours if more baby formula doesn't get to those families in desperate need. And if we talk about pressure, Israel is looking more isolated. There's been a very strongly worded statement from key European countries, Canada and Australia, condemning Israel in no uncertain terms. President Trump has changed his tone over the war. He's expressed concern about levels of starvation in Gaza, but he has not criticized the Israeli government directly, criticized Israel's war in Gaza, and it remains to be seen what pressure the president is willing to exert to possibly try and force Israel's hand on this. At the moment, Israel is escalating its military operations on the ground.
They certainly are. And now we know, Tom, that Israel has approved an emergency draft calling up those IDF reservists. With ceasefire talks at an impasse and more soldiers moving in, does Israel have any incentive to resume peace talks?
Well, the Israeli government's position, Stephanie, has always been, or for a long time, that it has to exert maximum military pressure on Hamas to try and get the group to make concessions. Now, many Israelis would disagree with that. Many of Israel's allies would disagree. They would argue that in the recent ceasefires that we have had, it has been a sense of negotiation and compromise on both sides that has led to ceasefire deals and more hostages coming out. The Qatari Prime Minister now saying that recent negotiations are leading nowhere because of a fundamental gap between the two parties. And we've had a very strongly worded statement from the family supporting the hostages, and they're effectively pleading with the Israelis Israeli government to change its position, arguing that Hamas has already been defeated. But at the moment, the Israeli military is on a full war footing in Gaza right now. Stephanie?
Tom.
Okay. Hear this one.
Tonight, Israel is expanding its attacks in the Gaza Strip, moving toward what Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu calls full control, saying he wants to essentially take over all of Gaza. Israel's military says it struck
every day his head gets bigger and bigger, and he also looks a little bit more like Hitler.
670 Hamas-related targets in the past week. But the Hamas-run Ministry of Health in Gaza says more than 600 people, mostly civilians, have been killed in 3 days.
When was Netanyahu born? I've never believed in reincarnation before, but hold on. Oh! Oh, he was born in 1949. Uh-oh. When did Hitler kill himself? A couple years before that, right? Yeah. Oh, fuck. Uh-oh.
Including most of
Never believed in reincarnation until now.
Al-Shar's family, killed in an Israeli airstrike in an area.
Out of all like theories on afterlife and stuff like that, if there was one that I fucked with big time, it would. And I mean, the idea of heaven's cool. I just don't believe it. I don't think it's real. I think that when we die, it's just eternal nothingness, blackness, darkness, nothing. But I could get behind reincarnation. That sounds pretty tight. I could also get behind chilling out in heaven. I'm cool with that idea. I just don't think it's going to happen.
Israel calls a safe zone. We're exhausted. Get us out of this. She says we can't live any longer. But one family's prayers have been answered. When Hamas freed him last week, Adnan Alexander became the last known living American hostage to leave Gaza.
You must have imagined that moment of reunion so many times. Did it live up to how you imagined it?
It was better than I imagined it. I was running to him. I was screaming, and
shit! Oh my god! I didn't know. I was holding focused on Bernie for a second. That actually scared me.
Him, like so.
I don't give a fuck. I don't care how they feel about their IDF soldier son. Literally turned 21, decided to go to Israel to join the IDF. Scumbag fuck. Deserves the worst.
To the Middle East now, and new attacks by Israel inside Gaza. The Hamas-run Ministry of Health saying at least 153 people have been killed since Friday alone. The IDF saying this is just the beginning of what it calls Operation Gideon's Chariots. That plan was approved by the Israeli Security Cabinet over the objections of the Hostage Families Forum, which believes it poses a risk to the remaining living hostages taken by Hamas on the October 7th attack. ABC's Lama Hassan joins me now for more on the story. Lama, what's the latest on these new attacks?
Right. So Israel launched this new offensive. It is designed to seize strategic areas of Gaza, to attack Hamas and force them to release the remaining 57 Israeli hostages that are still being held in Gaza. And of course, the objective is also to destroy Hamas. Now, this is a massive operation. There are thousands more Israeli troops massing at the border, including not only soldiers, but reservists too, and tanks. Now, we are seeing Israel intensifying its bombing campaign. We are seeing more casualties. Since Thursday alone, 300 Palestinians have been killed. And you know, Phil, we just spoke to a doctor there working inside Gaza, and he told us that the conditions are just horrific. And even while we were interviewing him, he said that there were bombs being dropped. He said every 5 minutes or so, he could hear the explosions.
And this is horrific all around. The humanitarian crisis in Gaza is worsening. Sorry for that audio. It's worsening by the moment. Is there any movement on shipments of humanitarian aid?
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Phil. It really is no aid, no food, no water. Medicine has entered the Strip in the last 10 weeks because of Israel's siege on Gaza. Aid agencies are sounding the alarm, warning of an imminent famine. There are thousands of trucks at the border waiting for approval to go in, but Israel has imposed a siege, so until that is lifted, no aid can get in.
And Lama, this question at this point where we are seems, I don't know, moot, but I'm wondering, there's so many people caught in the middle of this. Are the ceasefire talks even continuing?
Yeah, so we do understand that Israel and Hamas are right now holding a new round of talks to try to end the war. These new negotiations are taking place in Doha, along with the Qataris and U.S. officials. The main talking point at this point is the remaining hostages being released from Gaza in exchange for some sort of period of calm. Now, you'll remember that this is a proposal that was put forward by the U.S.'s Special Envoy Steve Witkoff, but we'll just have to wait and see if anything comes out of these talks, Phil.
All right, Lama Hassan, thanks for the update.
Sorry, I was looking at something in the
Israeli
background.
humanitarian blockade of Gaza enters its third month. Yesterday, President Trump said people are starving.
Let's watch this Democracy Now! Video.
Democracy depends on a free press. Please support our independent journalism at democracynow.org/give. This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, the War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman with Juan Gonzalez. We turn now to a new report that reveals how Israel is trying to make Gaza unlivable. It's been well documented that Israeli airstrikes account for mass casualties. Now the independent news outlet 972 Magazine has spoken
Bernie
to
has to go to the
Israeli
bathroom.
soldiers who
I'll be right
reveal
back.
new details about how they've been systematically using bulldozers and explosives to flatten Gaza from the ground. For example, Gaza's government media office says the Israeli army's destroyed at least 90% of residential neighborhoods in the southern city of Rafah. The 972 report features videos Israeli soldiers shared online, like this one by Avraham Zarviv, who operates a D9 armored bulldozer. His nickname is Flattener of Jabalia, the northern town of Jabalia in Gaza. In this video, he uses his camera to show a flattened landscape in Rafah.
Very good. Givati Brigade, very good. Yes, Rafah. Rafah end, as they say. There will be no more battle in Rafah, because there will be no more Rafah. The nation of Israel lives.
For more, we're joined in Tel Aviv by Meron Rappaport, editor and writer at the independent Israeli news site Local Call and a columnist at 972 Magazine, where his new piece with Oren Ziv is headlined "Render It Unusable, Israel's Mission of Total Urban Destruction." Meron, welcome back to Democracy Now! Why don't you lay out what you found and these, the access you had, well, because they post them online publicly, to these Israeli soldiers' actual video accounts themselves of what they're doing in Gaza?
I think that Gaza is being destroyed and is already destroyed. This is not really new. We know that. We know that there are very few buildings standing in Rafah. What we have discovered in this investigation, Oren Ziv and I, is that this is a premeditated. That most of it is premeditated. That this is the routine work of soldiers today, or in the last year, or maybe more than a year, since the beginning of 2024, the routine work is to destroy. That this is what they are doing as a routine army service. They go out in the morning, they either accompany bulldozers or a unit that is responsible for explosives. They go choose buildings and flatten them in a systematic way. And that the aim is it is being said to them.
Wait, Meron Rappaport? There's a good Rappaport that exists?
Of course, this is not official.
There's a good Rappaport
coming
on this
from
planet.
The general headquarters of the Israeli army, but it is very bluntly told. They're being told, and they are themselves very proud of it, that the real aim is to make it impossible for the Palestinian to return.
I was just looking it up too. I just want to clarify from that the conversation we had earlier with the person that I banned. The PLO was heavily involved in the invasion of Lebanon and Israel invading Lebanon, things like that. That's besides the point. what that person was doing was try to run defense for Joe Biden and his comments on the invasion of Lebanon by saying the PLO was labeled as a terrorist organization at the time. And your point is?
Turn to these areas.
So, just want to clarify that real
now,
quick.
In these days, in Rafah,
I just didn't know the PLO had anything. I thought that it was only like a Hezbollah versus IDF conflict.
We are telling that 4% of the building in Rafah are unhurt, undamaged. Only 4%. A city of 200,000 people before the war. So it is a systematic.
But like, even without knowing anything like about the specifics of the situation, like you don't even have to know Hezbollah is. You don't even have to know who IDF is. All you have to know is that a sovereign state was being invaded by another under the pretense of colonization, and they were killing women and children to do it. And there was a politician in America at the time who said, yeah, you know what? I would do the same. I would kill those women and children too. The moment you say, oh, but that one group was labeled as a terrorist organization at the time, what's your point? That the children should die? That's your point. And that Joe Biden is justified in saying what he said about the children dying.
It's not done it's not during battle. It's not even a result of airstrike, although, of course, airstrike are responsible for some of the damage. It is a planned thing, and in this, I think it is unprecedented.
And Marin, you open your piece quoting a soldier you identify only as Y, and he describes the demolition methods, and I'm quoting you. You write, quote, I secured 4 or 5 bulldozers from another unit. They demolished 60 houses per day, 60. A 1 or 2 story house they take down within an hour. A 3 or 4 story house takes a bit longer. The official mission was to open a logistical route for maneuvering, but in practice, the bulldozers were simply destroying homes. So this is, to reiterate what you said, this is not in the process of a battle. This is supposedly after, let's say, there's been a battle or conflict, what the Israeli soldiers are doing. So this is total ethnic cleansing of an entire territory. It's effectively what they're doing, isn't it?
Effectively, yes. Of course, this goes into some gray zone in the international law, what is called domicide, destruction of whole urban areas. It is not officially a crime against humanity.
Okay, I'm done with this. I feel like we've learned everything we need to learn when it comes to the aid being let in, all the hospitals that are being bombed. Now let's do a little bit of a nice story. Abu Bakr Abed, 21-year-old journalist from Gaza who originally just wanted to be a sports journalist, a sports broadcaster, was forced into being a war correspondent. Over the past year, we've frequently watched his coverage, being one of the few Palestinian journalists left. As we know, no journalists are allowed into Palestine. It's only the ones that live there who are able to give us the coverage and accurately film and broadcast the genocide to the world. But when one of the first videos, it was one of the first videos we ever watched from Abu Bakr. It was when he was on Democracy Now! And Amy Goodman was interviewing him, and she asked him at the end of the interview, "How are you doing? Are you eating enough food? You look very skinny." And he said that he hadn't eaten fresh food in over a year and was surviving off of bread rations. He eventually got malnutrition and found out that he was directly being targeted by the IDF. Just a few days after Hassam Shabbat was killed, he decided it was time for him to leave because I don't know from who, but I'm guessing Dropside or somebody with credible information let him know that the IDF is targeting you. And his mom is the person that was like, hey, you should leave. They're like targeting you specifically. And I could imagine that there's a part of him that's like, hey, if I leave, that might make it to where my family is safer. Because me being here, they're trying to come attack me. They're not going to like discriminate between me and my family members. They're just going to kill us. But drop site news successfully got him out of Gaza, Palestine, and he has been relocated to Ireland, where he's been able to not only treat his malnutrition, but get to like experience life without just like relentless genocide and death and destruction around him. So let's see a little bit of Abu's story since he left Palestine.
This coming Saturday. Safe for now in Ireland, 22-year-old journalist Abu Bakr Abed is recovering from severe malnutrition and the trauma of witnessing genocide after being evacuated from Gaza on April 16th.
I don't think at all that I can call myself a reporter or even a journalist, but we are genocide documentary.
He tweets about it like every day. Every day he tweets about his survivor's guilt and how, like, not only that, how he, like, will hear sirens and stuff like that and he'll, like, instantly get triggered with PTSD. But yeah, he feels like survivor's guilt and just, like, guilt that he even left in general.
Because that's
Did he really, Big Room? I didn't hear that. That's awesome.
Could have died.
Because, you know, this is something I didn't even think about. Bent had to bring it to my attention. I kept talking about this like, oh yeah, he's coming here to get better from his malnutrition, then he'll go back and cover, like, because that's what he, like, it seemed like that's what he wanted to do in his letter that he wrote when he was leaving. But then Bent was like, they're not going to let him back. And I was like, oh yeah, duh, of course they're not going to let him back.
Could have been killed by the Israelis at any point during the genocide, so I'm very lucky to have survived.
Before arriving in Ireland, the young Gazan spent 560 days reporting for Press TV. He claims it's a role
I'm so
that,
happy he's
along
safe.
with
Every fucking day we were worried we were going to get a, just like we did with Hassam Shabbat. Every day we were worried we were going to hear the same about Abu Bakr.
His large social media following made him a target for the Israeli regime.
They tried to kill me. They desperately wanted to kill me. And until this moment, you know, the Israelis are still saying bad things to me, trying to distort my image.
Many of Abu Bakr's journalist colleagues were massacred by Israeli forces. He also lost family and friends in the onslaught. Now he finds it difficult to stay in touch with loved ones still trapped in Gaza.
Israel has been systematically destroying the infrastructure, the telecommunications infrastructure from day one, so it's very hard to contact them, but I'm trying.
Oh, you know what? I have a video, a Democracy Now! Video about that. That's probably the video you got it from.
Abu Bakr says it's his unwavering Muslim faith that has kept him going. He has also been heartened by the strong support shown for Palestinians.
Yep, we got Bernie. He's been laying in my lap pretty much all night.
For me, for every Palestinian trapped in the territory,
he's starting to wake up,
and every
though.
Palestinian all across the globe. When you see that the people here in the West, particularly in Ireland, they care about you and they show you these.
Ew, I just touched some of his pee-pee.
But they're big in our eyes.
Now in Ireland on a student visa, Abu Bakr is set to complete his
student
journalism
visa
degree in Dublin next year. In the meantime, is set to complete his journalism degree in Dublin next year.
Nice.
In the meantime, he plans to lobby Western governments to hold the Israeli regime accountable for its crimes. Though he's only been in the country a few weeks, it's clear Abu Bakr is already making his mark.
Hell yeah.
The young man will be one of the key speakers here outside Ireland's Parliament following a national pro-Palestinian rally through the capital, which is due to take place this coming Saturday. Jerome Hughes, Press TV, Leinster House, Dublin.
Okay. Oh, and he wrote his own story on Drop Site. You know, we'll read through this in a minute. This right here. Can I ever return again? I can't turn them off. Yeah, you know, we'll read through this in a minute. I want to get through all the videos first. Oh, wait, a woman in Ireland spat on an IOF soldier saying Zionists are not welcome in Ireland. Abu Bakr's in the right place.
Yeah. And you're not really
better side.
Guys, please.
You can take a video all you want.
Guys,
You're not welcome in Ireland. Zionists are
Hell
not
yeah.
welcome in Ireland.
Hell yeah.
Israel is on Israel.
That gets a boom from me, baby.
I
love you too.
You.
Did you just spit on me?
I did.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
Can you call the police, please? Thank you. Thank you.
Spit on him.
Yeah, like I got spit on.
Oh, he spit on me. Call the police.
Why do you keep recording me?
She spit on me.
You can be very quiet.
My better side.
Wait, hold on. I got chapstick on my lips.
You're not welcome in Ireland. Zionists are not welcome in Ireland.
Yes, I'm
Fuck
a
you and
Zionist and I'm
Dad,
proud
fuck Israel. Israel is on its way out. Believe me, Israel is on its way out.
Got you.
And you're not. Israeli American empire.
I love you too.
Same thing happened. Oh, did it? Nice. And then what's this?
You all know that I was going to be the next target. That's why you all wanted me to be out, right? And I was going to be the next target. I can tell you that even one of the pages on Twitter, which is Zionist Observer, they told me and they warned me against it, and they wrote about it. The smear campaigns and death incitements that were targeting Hassan Aslaya, they were simultaneous on me. So it was just deliberate, as my mother told me, as you all told me. And I had that feeling that I was going to be the next target if I stayed. I had that feeling. It was literally inevitably imminent. If I stayed, I would be killed. I wouldn't do this interview with you. So there was a kill target placed on my back. And right now you're seeing more kill targets on journalist Hind al-Khudri. Right now they're saying IDF finished the job. She's a legitimate target. You will see more killings of journalists because the killing spree is unprecedented. 215 journalists. Those are not just journalists. Those are fathers, brothers. They are also, there are also human beings who had lives. They never committed a war crime in their lives. They had never any political affiliations. They don't have the time for secret terrorism. They don't have the time for anything of that to do it. They're reporting the truth. They're reporting what they are seeing and what they are being subjected to. So why is this happening? Reason number one is because of Israel and the support of the complicit Western countries. And the other reason is because of the silence and the continuous consent given by the Western media for killing genocidal Palestinians.
Living legend, man, and literal Holocaust survivor.
I think I've lost.
Oh, this is from the other day when all the protests were going on around the world for Palestine.
Yeah. Well, I think I've lost all the words to describe what is happening right now. I never imagined in my life to see such support, such unwavering support, and all those people coming from different parts of Ireland just to march here in support of my cause. I've arrived recently, but for me, this is absolutely the best thing that I could really see in my life.
I know sometimes we wish we could do more, but sometimes all you can do is use your voice like this. And look, it's even making him say this support is more than you, means more to me than you know. It's like it left him without words, like you said.
The flags over there, people from all over the country that are here marching. I think if there's a government that listens to them, the genocide in Gaza will be stopped very, very much earlier.
That's so crazy to think that they're all demonstrating next to a literal Holocaust survivor.
I never imagined to be among those crowds from the very born babies. I've seen newborns coming to this protest, into this march with their parents and every category of this country. Wow, I can't really believe it. I'm totally overwhelmed and super thankful because what I'm seeing is extraordinarily unimaginable. I'm super grateful to Ireland, super grateful to everyone who's attended and march right now.
Aw, that smile at the end, that just filled my heart with joy. This fucking decrepit black heart of mine. He got to meet up with Ali Ubinama. That's cool. I have lost words. This is a dream to be with Ali. Yeah, that's, you know, something I said, because you saw me go to that protest, right? A couple months ago, the anti-Trump protest that I went and live streamed that. For me, what I always try to tell people is sometimes you feel like you can't do anything. You can't affect any change. And it's like I said, sometimes the only thing you can do is get out there and use your voice like that. But beyond that, if you really want to feel like you're affecting change, because some of these things are like Palestine, you can't enact peace in Palestine yourself. You can't bring liberation to the Palestinian people yourself, or even just by going to a protest. And sometimes you can just feel like there's nothing you can do and you give up. But what you can do is what I always say is join these local orgs, DSA, PSL, Code Pink, whatever it is. Find all these different organizations, go to the meetings, and join in on the stuff that they do to actively help like your community. Like going and doing like feeding the homeless events, or gathering school supplies for the new school year for kids that can't afford it, or like clothing drives for things like that. All of these organizations are directly doing stuff like that, and you could go join and directly affect change in your community. And then beyond that, like once you join those organizations, you need to start pushing for more, like when it comes to like political activism, going and doing direct action civil disobedience, not just going and protesting outside of Trump Tower, but doing what they did a couple months ago, where they all dressed up like in plain clothes, went inside of Trump Tower, and then took their shirts off, showing they were there for a protest, and did a sit-in. Like, that's the kind of stuff that needs to be going on. But if you just feel like helpless, like there's nothing that you can do, join these organizations and go help out at the community level, because that's what they're all doing. That's the most important thing you could be doing. Abu says, I'm bombarded by gifts and the messages of love and support. I'm so grateful to Pretty G Cox for such masterpieces. Very cool.
Davis, do you want to take charge of that?
Well, I'm super overwhelmed. I can't really imagine the scenes here. They're just extremely, unbelievably extraordinary. I'm so happy to be here. I'm so happy to be in Palestine of Europe, where I was overwhelmed and I was really showered with messages of support. And the people here who have come,
I know.
done everything to
I hate
come
Israel
from
too,
their
Bernie
places
B. I'm
and
not the
from different
IDF. I'm not
parts of the
Israel. Stop
country
attacking me.
to show us support
Kissy,
and
I got you.
solidarity. I'm super thankful.
Got you. What you gonna do about it?
I'm thankful to every single one here, from the children to the elderly, to every single one. I really want to hug everyone. I can't say in words how thankful I am. The words, I'm lost of words. I'm lost of words. Thank you so much, Ireland. Thank you to the Irish people who have done this, who have made
Bernie
my
wants me to
day.
let him down.
You are literally the solace inside my heart right now. You are indeed my heart. Thank you, Ireland, for this protest, for this march. Much love to every single one of you, from someone who suffered the hell of a life in Gaza, and was just being brought here to see this kind of support that's made my life, and that is making my life. Much love and hope to every single one of you. You are our yellow roses in this very unjust world.
Okay, I think I had an interview. Oh, actually, where is that interview even? Oh, here, perfect.
Democracy depends on a free press. Please support our independent journalism at democracynow.org/give. This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org. We go from Gaza to someone who was just in Gaza when we last spoke to him. Abu Bakr Abed is a 22-year-old journalist from Deir al-Balah. He used to be a footballer, soccer commentator, but now, as he says, he's an accidental war correspondent. In recent weeks, he's been evacuated to Dublin, Ireland, to continue his education and get medical treatment for malnutrition. He received a scholarship to study.
That Amy emote is my favorite.
He heals. His new piece for Dropsite News is headlined "The Unbearable Pain of Leaving Gaza." Abu Bakr, welcome back to Democracy Now! We last spoke to you in Gaza. Now you're in Dublin. Talk about that journey that you took and your thoughts as you listen to another report from Gaza City, a report that you might have given several months ago.
Yeah, thank you so much, Amy, for having me. Of course, it's been a very agonizing decision, a very heartbreaking one. And let me just say first that everyone in Gaza should have this chance to get the treatment. Everyone in Gaza should have the right to continue their education. I'm not better than anyone inside Gaza at the moment. But yes, for a 22-year-old to take such a decision at such a time, in a very, very young age, is absolutely traumatizing. I was forced to it because at that time, I was very malnourished, and if I stayed because of the blockade, and we heard the report and the ongoing starvation and blockade of every corner of the Gaza Strip is just lethal. So if I stayed, I would die. All Gaza right now is starving. So I was left with no choice. And this wasn't all the reason, to be honest, because at the same time, it was threatened multiple times. Yesterday, Israeli warplanes bombed the Burns ward inside the hospital, killing journalist Hassan Slayeh. He's literally the most famous, renowned journalist inside Gaza. Everyone really learned from him. I learned from him. And he brought journalism to Gaza. He's been covering Gaza since 2000.
This is the one that was killed in the burn unit at Nasser Hospital last week.
3 years after the blockade or the siege that Israel imposed on the territory. So when you look at the number of journalists killed in Gaza, more than 250.
And he was recovering in the burn unit from a bombing that Israel did on him like a week before that, when he was staying in a tent.
And I'm very unfortunate to have survived, but again, everyone deserves this chance. Everyone should have the right to education, to health, to everything. But I can't really tell you that I'm safe here. I'm probably a physical survivor, but not an emotional survivor. The images that he took with me from Gaza are still haunting me all the night. And I can tell you, over the past 3 weeks since arriving here, many nights I didn't sleep at all.
Like, the images that Israel has left me with, just that I've seen on the internet, are things that will never leave me, things that I think about all the time. Every time I open up Twitter, I see more horrors brought upon me. I couldn't even imagine what it's like to live that.
Because every beautiful place I visited here in Dublin or around Ireland, I had that secondary instant idea that this place would be bombed, and I would see it lying in ruins, even the home where I'm residing right now. So the trauma is relentless, and my whole family is still in Gaza, my friends, my colleagues, and all of them. I'm just thinking about them every single second, all day. And this shouldn't be the life of a 22-year-old. And I didn't want to make this decision. I wanted to stay. But when a son hears from his mom that...
Yeah, the bulldozer.
Telling him that he is going to harm his own family and harm her, your home country is no longer your home. You have to flee, you have to leave, because your mom thinks you are a danger, your family thinks you're a danger, and everyone felt that I was going to be the next target. And myself, I knew that I was going to be the next target. So when you're put under such circumstances, this is just an unfair word. And
that one hit list that Israel put out last year of all the journalists that they declared, it was like 6 journalists they said were Hamas journalists. Are any of them still alive? I'd have to look that up.
Filled with corruption that
he wasn't a part of that list.
Really describe. So this is just a very traumatizing and agonizing decision, and I don't know what to say anymore.
If you can talk about what it is like to watch the news outside about what's happening inside and what is happening directly to your family inside now, though you have made it out, Abu Bakr.
It's unfair, it's traumatizing, and I constantly live in fear just thinking about my family. I try to have some joy here, but it's painful joy. I don't have a taste of any food. I don't have a taste to the pure water that I drink right now. I remember the times when I was in Gaza, I was drinking contaminated water coming from the sewage, and it was really causing me a lot of pain. But right now, even when you think about it, that someone who has been taken from hell to heaven, it's really hard to process. And, you know, I'm not there anymore. So if I don't know, but if anyone, like, for example, I should have been today with the other journalists, mourning the death of our colleague, our brave colleague, Hassan Slaih, who was deliberately assassinated by Israel. And the killing spree continues to grow every single day towards journalists. So I should have been there, but I'm watching right now in silence, surrounded by fear, by fury, by wrath. I really want to do something, and I'm trying to do something from here, to try and tell the governments, tell the people that we need to do something, because this is not, this is not some sort of aberration. This is deliberate genocide, starvation by design, an act to try and wipe out the entire Gazan population, from the young to the elderly, because we've seen the systematic rage of entire families in Gaza. More than as it has been reported, more than 1,200 families have been wiped out. And 1 week before leaving Gaza, my aunt's family was bombed, and my cousin, who was 45 years old, her husband was killed, she was killed, and all of her 60 children. So all of the family was wiped out. Now,
entire
their memories,
bloodlines.
their home, everything about them has now been is now erased because of Israel. So Israel continues bombing Palestinians. I'm praying every single day that a ceasefire would be achieved, an agreement would be hashed out, but I'm trying to do something from here, but I can't tell you anything. But I feel very guilty for the water that I drink, for the fresh food that I have, for the good medications.
Exactly.
Even I'm taking right now gastro-resistant pills and paracetamols and just other multivitamins these are just simple medications that I should have had in Gaza. But right now I'm taking these simple medications that I was forced to get out just to continue my education and take these medications, very simple medications. So what is the objective that Israel is trying to achieve by blocking the entry of aid, food and medications into Gaza? This is just the peak of terrorism that Israel is doing, and the hell that Israel has inflicted upon Palestinians, particularly the children, given the fact that half of the population is the children. This hell is just unprecedented in the conditions. As I'm talking to my family and I'm hearing the bombings from abroad, I was hearing them in Gaza. I feel very frightened, very terrified, and I can't really have a good moment of safety here. I'm not safe. I'm just a physical survivor.
Finally, I'm speaking to you as President Trump is in his first major international trip. It's to Saudi Arabia, it's to United Arab Emirates, it's to Qatar. Qatar, which has been a country that is negotiating supposedly a deal between Hamas and Israel, of course, with U.S. involvement. What message do you have to these countries?
That it is enough. It's enough. We're not a party to this war, and this is something I told you while I was in Gaza. We're not a party to this war. We didn't do anything to be suffering that way, that all the Palestinians right now trapped in the territory are still suffering every single day. They don't have access to water, they don't have access to food. My family is suffering relentlessly, they don't have anything. And what is happening is something that has to stop, because we are humans like anyone across the globe, and we have the right to live, we have the right to have a normal life, because the simplest things here in this country, in Ireland, are not available for people in Gaza. I'm seeing the leftovers people leave in the waste baskets. Those things are precious for Palestinians, for my family, for everyone in Gaza. But you can see the different worlds that we are living in. A whole community, a whole population is being genocided live now, while an entire world of 9 billion people is just to stand by passively, not being able to send one bottle of water or a can of food to children who are starving, who are being brutalized, traumatized, and ostracized as if their lives have no value at all. And Israel's war crimes go
I want to thank
just
you so
unpunished.
much for being with us. We have to leave it there. Democracy Now!
I
is
love Democracy Now! I love this so
by
much.
viewers
They just,
like
no matter who it is, they're like, sorry, union time, gotta go. Show's over now. And it's just like, to what he was just saying, it's like, it took the UN saying, oh yeah, 14,000 children are at risk of dying in the next 48 hours if aid trucks are not let into Palestine. And now there's this deal going on where, oh yeah, they've let in 5 aid trucks. Like, what?
Aside as if their lives have no value.
If the rest of the world actually stood up and stood on business and said, hey, no more. And like I've said, all it takes is one call from Trump or Biden back in his administration to say, hey, arms embargo, we're not sending you any more money, no more munitions, no more weapons, nothing. It would be over. But still, Canada, France, the UK all standing up and saying, oh yeah, we're going to threaten sanctions if you don't start letting aid in. And then just, oh, you know what? All right, they let in 5 trucks. No more threat of sanctions. It's like they really don't care. Nobody cares. Except for people, you know, but the power structures that be do not. Okay, let's see. What's this one?
In the dust of Jabalia, there seems
this will be the
little
last
left
one we
to
watch.
destroy. And
So
yet,
I don't think I had anything more on Abu Bakr. Yeah, I think we'll just watch this and then we'll move on.
fresh strikes, more panic, and another desperate search for survivors.
My message to the world is it is enough. Come to our aid. We cannot walk anymore, nor eat, nor speak. We lost our houses, our children and youth are gone. Our children's future is lost.
Some lives ended before they'd even begun. It was a long night for civil defence volunteers in Gaza's north.
Volunteers.
This was a family home. 3 are dead, many more are missing. If efforts to dig through the rubble in the dark look hopeless, it's because in the end they were. In Gaza City, Al-Shifa Hospital, the ambulances aren't bringing in patients, they're delivering the dead. Unknown child, the note on this body bag reads.
Oh, God.
Others, though, can be identified and given an all-too rushed farewell before they're taken away to be buried. At least 140 Palestinians have been killed in Gaza in the last 24 hours, according to local authorities. The IDF stepped up its strikes, launching Operation Gideon's Chariots, a major new offensive to, quote, achieve the goals in this war, the release of the remaining October 7 hostages and the defeat of Hamas. To Israel, the escalation may mean the end game. To Gaza, it means more casualties, more horror and loss. To the rest of the world, it's a mark of just how unsuccessful recent international pressure on resolving this conflict has been.
My proudest legacy will be that of a peacemaker and unifier. That's what I want to be, a peacemaker and a unifier.
The energy.
Again, all it takes is a 5-minute phone call to be that peacemaker you're talking about being.
If Donald Trump's inauguration promises seem to have been sapped by reality.
Oh,
he cut a weary...
You're not even at the bottom. It's not even on the page. Like Netanyahu said the other day, even if they got all the hostages back, that he's still continuing his war.
Figure returning from the White House from his Middle East trip, with investment deals and a renewed bond with Syria under his belt, but no grand bargain in the form of a Gaza breakthrough to boast of. Even the fist bump was at best half-hearted. He'd barely left the region before Israel announced its new offensive.
Yeah.
Then, within hours of the escalation, Hamas and Israel agreed to a fresh round of ceasefire talks in Doha. In Gaza, those talks don't seem particularly loud and nowhere near urgent enough.
We had hope because Trump had said there was a surprise. We thought that that would be a resolution to all of this, but every time now they say there's a surprise, the number of martyrs and wounded rises and the bombardments increase.
Farah Salmansi was asleep with her children when her camp outside Al-Aqsa Hospital was hit. The children have no toys to play with, but that's the least of their worries. Now they have no shelter, no food, and no idea what to do next.
Well, Ian Lennon is a consultant in emergency medicine who's currently volunteering in Gaza with the charity UK Med. When I spoke to him earlier, I asked what things had been like over the last few days.
Certainly, there's a lot of activity going on around the hospital in terms of explosions that we can hear and small arms fire at quite some distance from us, to be fair. I visited NASA Hospital on Thursday, and they were seeing daily mass casualty incidents of 5 or 6 severely injured patients.
We've seen lots of reports about difficulties getting access to aid, to food. That's what we've been hearing on the ground. What are you seeing?
So we have a reasonable supply following the ceasefire. We had the opportunity to bring in quite a lot of supplies, but we're now very much in the position where we're running out of simple staple items like bandages and dressings. And some of our medicines, the ones which we're using more frequently, pain relievers and so on, are also becoming really quite tight at the moment.
There's going to be a bigger operation that is happening. Are you concerned about more people coming from the north to the south where you are? What impact would that have?
We're certainly planning for a wave of people to come through our hospital at some point over the next few days. Almost certainly, we will start to see an increase in activity from patients, from people being displaced down from the north and from other areas near us. And also as other hospitals are losing their facilities, we're having to take transfers from those facilities. And we're already seeing that on a daily basis.
Capacity-wise, how are you doing? What are beds looking like? How are people coping?
So it's important to remember that actually most of the staff that we have here in the hospital are actually Palestinian nationals. So they are working very hard for us here and working very hard for their countrymen. But at the same time, they are also having to go home and live in bombed out houses and tents, which are putting a certain amount of psychological strain on everybody here. Everybody.
Chat, I gotta end stream a little early. I'm sorry. I gotta end stream a little early. Here, let's find someone to raid. Sorry about that. Let me get out of here though. Let me find the goodbye song. All right, let's find someone to raid. Sorry for the abrupt ending.
Oh, there's the thought again. And you smack that one down too. And there's the thought again. And you smack that one down too. Out of here, bitch! Hey man, I had a rough week. I actually don't give a shit about your problems today. Can I just talk about mine? There's a cantaloupe in my ass. You're the one fucking person that I didn't want to listen to. You're the one fucking person.
All right, let's hit Zach app. Lex! Lex, I forgot to write your name up on the whiteboard. I will do it tonight, next stream. I have to go right now. I'm a piece of shit. I forgot. Okay, Zach app, raid, exclamation mark raid. Why is this not showing up now? What happened? Where'd it go? Lex coming in with that 9-month resub. Lex, I will get your name right up on the board next stream, right at the beginning. I completely forgot. I was gonna finish my thought when we were watching that one video. Completely forgot. Barge came in with the 45-month resub. Now is that Weed coming in with the TTSs to keep us alive all night. Sorry about the abrupt ending, chat. I just have to go. I'll see you guys tonight. I wanted to play a little Helldivers tonight, but I cannot.